Hello, everybody. Welcome to Arsenal Fan Circle. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome here. Thursday night forum. Arsenal squad golf in class. A golf in class between our first teamers, a golf in class between our squad players, a golf in class between Arsenal, a golf in class between Oxford. And we'll get into the FA Cup game. But a couple of other things, Stan, have come up as well. In the last 12 hours, probably, Arsenal being charged.
Hold on. Before we start, right? I thought we could start with a joke that I heard today.
Go for it.
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
That's the joke.
Chelsea. They're in the mud. They're in the mud. Yeah. Listen, everything's going to interweave in this podcast. And listen, first of all, Tony told me his intestines are flaring up. He may or may not join us. Gary will join us a little bit later. Alonso will join a little bit later. But we got Stan and we got me right now. We're going to go through everything's going to intertwine like Tony's intestines, Stan. You know, we're going to talk about Chelsea in the mud. We're going to talk about the Arsenal being charged 2 consecutive games now by the FA.
And just a quick shout out to those that have joined us in the chat already. Big shout out to BX Gunner, Thunder Road. Thanks for coming in, and those that are listening as well.
Yeah, let's get into a few comments as we welcome them in. BX Gunner said, "I've been in Chelsea chats all evening, laughing my ass off. I waited a long time for a day like today. The meltdowns are amazingly wonderful to watch." True. Chelsea, you know, they're not climbing out of the mud that they're in right now.
Listen, when your team's in the shit, there's no other team. There's no one bending over with a helping hand to help you climb out. You're on your own. I mean, how long have we been in? We've been in the shit for ages, and there was nobody fucking throwing us a life jacket. It was just us, man, squabbling amongst ourselves. So now the boot's on the other foot, and I'm laughing.
Thunder Road said, "After Spurs, cannot stand Chelsea supporters next." And right after that will be Man United, probably. But for me, anyway, I'm sort of I'm going to be temporarily a Manchester United fan on Saturday morning. BX going to say, "Good evening, everyone. Welcome." And no, Tony's shirt will not be in attendance. LOL. Maybe. Here's Gary. Gary has just met it with a few minutes started in the show, so we'll bring Gary in as well. Hey, Gary.
Hello there.
All right, Gary.
Hey there.
Yeah.
Our Sith Lord, resident Sith Lord.
Welcome, Gary. Thursday night forum. Thanks for joining.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna have a little bit of fun tonight. We're talking about Chelsea right now, Gary.
Talking about what? Oh
yeah, you missed my joke. I started with. Did you hear the joke I started with, Gary?
No, I didn't. I just no. I
it's a good one, right? It's a good one. So okay, you ready?
Yep. Go ahead.
Chelsea. See, I told you.
One word joke.
Good one, isn't it? It got me the first time I heard it like that as well.
It's funny you say that because I was in a WhatsApp group, and when Fulham went up, I texted and I left a message, and I was like, you know, it'd be really funny if he got a straight red now.
Prophecy. Sith Lord and a prophet.
You was a betting man, Gary. You'd be fucking rolling in it now, man.
And he got a straight red, and I was like, because you know what, I was just thinking to Darwin's, you know, when his first kind of set of games, and he got baited into his red card, and I was like, you know, the way football's been going this season, weird things are happening, and that just made sense. He comes out, he's like, you know, the shortest term, biggest loan probably of all time. I don't think anybody's spending that much on a loan with no guarantees that you can get the player. Then he extends, and you still say, yeah, let's do it. And then he comes out, plays for part of it, you know, most of a game. Actually, he actually looked pretty good. And then he's gone for 3 games, possibly.
Yeah. He's going to be out for a month now.
That's over 2 million. 2 million euros, I think. Gone.
I was like, usual suspects, just like that. 2 million euros.
I mean, put yourself in Aubameyang's place. You're sitting watching all of this unfold, right? They're flying a guy in quickly, flying him across, putting him straight in your position. I mean, it's madness. What is it with Chelsea and strikers? You know, players that play through the middle, it just never seems to work out for them. But who cares?
We've suffered at the hands of Chelsea probably over the last 15, 20 years. Drogba was probably their last really, really good striker that torched us on many occasions. But things have come a little bit full circle, and they're getting Arsenal hand-me-downs via Barcelona, and in the form of Aubameyang and Ciao Felix. Yeah,
Ciao.
Well, Chelsea been
Ciao Felix, not Liao Felix. Ciao Felix.
They've been saying, haven't they, that they want their Chelsea back. Well, they've got it back, and they've got back Chelsea pre-Abramovich, by the looks of it. So they should be happy.
True. I would like to say hello to everybody in the chat. See Thunder Road BX, Mr. Tom. Don't know if I missed anybody else. I think that's it for now. As far as who's text, huh? I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It's a big difference. You tried. I did it. You know what I mean? That's how we usually.
I don't know what's going on, but anyway, it's all good. What else should we say about Chelsea? What else is there to say about Chelsea?
You know what? As some people have been saying, long may it continue, because it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch, and everybody's like, how in the world can they be this bad? They have talented players, but how can they be this bad?
See, what I heard was, I didn't see the game, but everyone's saying that Felix was the best player. I was listening to a report, and they were saying that he was the only one that he looked like he was, running after the ball, had any desire going on. He said that everybody else, it looked like a malaise was the word that he used. So it seems to me that you got Todd Bowley coming in, thinking, right, what can we do? Right, let's get ourselves in let's get ourselves in an English manager. Who's the best English manager? That guy from Brighton. Let's get him right. There's the man. Doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
The Del Trotter of the Premier League.
He seems, Potter for me. He seems like a man that's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Not introvert. He's a bit introverted, right? Some people are a little bit introverted. He sort of seems a little bit like that. You're talking about how it's a lot of pressure on him and his family. Even if it is, that's not what anybody wants to hear. I'm getting that. That's not, even if that's happening, that's not the message you should be putting out.
Everybody gets that, though. Everybody's going to get that, and you don't take a Chelsea job ever, right? And then not assume that it won't come with pressure. It's going to come with pressure. And if you're reading the room, if you're looking at the league, if you're in the league, which he was, and you're managing against Chelsea, you know exactly what is going on there from an outsider's perspective, right? So all of this he knew. The trick is he needed to do something. What has he done that you went, okay, that's a Potter trait in that squad?
Other than bringing that guy from Brighton, he brought in the right back, innit? That's been it. He brought that guy in, innit? The defender.
Barella.
Yeah, and that's been it. And as I was just thinking, maybe the next Chelsea manager, maybe he'll be allowed to buy the players and choose the players that he wants in his team. You know what I mean? Not having just parachuted in on him. Here you go. You got this player now. All right, cheers.
So, as Don Juan says, Chelsea doesn't have no identity. The identity was what had before under Abramovich was, identify the best players, but they were able to identify the best players, and they had a good man. Is it unfair? Good manager? Well, proven manager. Let's say proven managers with world-class talent, and maybe Potter is struggling a little bit to mold world-class talent.
He's got better players than he's had at Brighton for multiple years.
You know the difference? The difference is
bigger personalities
and desire.
Also dealing with much bigger personalities, and dealing with maybe a Brighton team that are really they all kind of feel like they're on a sort of a similar level and in a similar place. Now he's having to deal with a lot of big names, lots of big wages, lots of fancy cars in the car park, and it seems that he maybe doesn't have that wherewithal to have a bit of that Mourinho, a bit of that Conte, a bit of that Arteta, that little thing that sets you above, you know.
Arteta did not deal with the big voices in the room.
Well,
He
he
let
dealt
him
with
go.
Ozil, dealt with Aubameyang. Yeah, but
He
he,
let him
yeah,
go. He
but
let him go eventually,
and
right?
everyone
And
knows where they stand, don't they, with him? You know
but
what I mean?
and does that mean like all the new managers that are out there, they can't deal with the big, is Ten Hag like? Do you have to be a Ten Hag at a Ten Hag level to be able to
Look,
take that
look
position?
at
Because
those.
he's dealing
But
with.
that Ten Hag, the guy that brings in the guy from, he brought in a guy from Burnley, right, to play for Man. I mean, this is
Well,
all going to
look at
unfold
the
for them as
common
well,
thread
man.
here. Look at the common
Okay.
thread here. You got Aubameyang at Chelsea. You got Ronaldo at Man United, and you had Aubameyang at Arsenal. Ozil at Arsenal. These are the players
Yeah.
who are coming to the end of their careers. They're basically playing for themselves. They're not playing
Yeah.
for the team. And
Yeah.
Ten Hag was like,
Except for
Well,
Willian today. Willian was rolling back the years, wasn't he? Today, man.
but
I was
he's
like,
not
where
who's
was
that
playing
young
Gabriel?
Spotty
Aubameyang,
man?
so he's learned something there, right? If the man's not going to do whatever the manager wants, then he's going to sit. So at the least he's got a little bit of control there. The trick is when you put 11 players on the pitch,
Yeah.
they got to look like whatever Potter's teams look like, right?
The
Or well, that's the only way it's going to work.
hmm.
He can't unless there's. Oh, I always say either you can coach or you can't, and it's always been well. You got to wait till he gets his own players in. So in this day and age, you want to be somebody who can just
But
take a mess of players and get them and mold them into a 11, right?
here's
That's coaching.
But Gary, here's the thing now. Chelsea's got established players that are really, really good. Established players, international players. At Brighton, he took unknown players, and Brighton are still taking unknown players and polishing them up. Those players are eager to get into the Premier League, and they look at Brighton as a stepping stone to a bigger club higher up in the league, top six teams. That's the difference. Will Todd Bowley allow Potter to go and source those lesser known players to play for Chelsea? That's probably not going to happen, right?
Well, and that was the problem with Arteta, right? He needed either they were gonna let him do whatever he like. We're saying it sounds like we're saying Potter is not that he's got a lot more experience
He's
than
a good
Arteta
man.
does going
What
in,
Don Juan
but
says in
he
his
needs
comment there.
but he
Don
needs to
Juan
have
says,
that
Yeah.
same he needs to have that same time to do whatever he needs to do, and it's going to look ugly. And Arteta, it looked ugly, right?
Yeah.
Because you say the same thing about Arteta missing that arrogance. He didn't have the arrogance that you wanted out of an Arsenal manager, out of a manager of a top six team, right? When he first for those 3 years, because we always look at what he is now, but those first 3 years, did he have what you're talking about? No.
No, because
And Potter never would have had that. And I think if Potter did it his own way, it would look totally different. I think that's the same thing that happened when when uh when that team got Nuno. They wanted Nuno to come in there and just take whatever they had and make it work, as opposed to
yeah,
Nuno getting the opportunity and the time
to
and
go to work.
patience to do
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
did well, and that's why they picked him.
to go to work.
That's what I said when he took that job. If they don't give him any time, forget about it. It's not going to work. If they
Let's
expect instant results, it's not gonna work.
Potter got success, as I said, doing it the Brighton way in a club like Brighton. Todd Bowley really has to let Potter do some work there, and I'm sure Potter's getting frustrated about it. Let's get a couple of comments in here before we continue on. Truth be told, most Chelsea fans aren't free Romans, so it's about to hurt really bad for them. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Chelsea fans have grown up over 20 years on a steady diet of titles, cups,
yeah,
and winning
yeah.
things, and now they've got to go back. Some of them don't even remember when there was cars parked behind the goals at the old Stamford Bridge. They
Yeah,
don't remember
you can
that.
see one man walking his dog with a flat cap on, looking what's
Yeah,
going
I
on the
think there was
pitch.
like two stands. It wasn't a fully enclosed.
Yeah,
Uh,
people
Mr.
literally
Tom
walking their
Rutland,
dogs.
Yeah,
yeah,
I had to look at I would looked at the at least the English trophies and who's won the league as many times, and it's like Chelsea hasn't won that. I think they've won
five,
six.
I think. Yeah,
Six, it
five.
said six when I checked today,
Yeah,
because I was looking it up. We're like 13. So as far as English football is concerned, we're much better. And yes, they've won it more recently, I believe, but they're not that big and dominant of it as an English team, right? And as you say, it's all about the money that they've gotten, and they've had decent managers come in with those good players, and it's worked out. But now they brought in a manager that doesn't fit this spending spree that they're on, right? This is what Conte wanted. He wanted something like this, right? Conte wanted to be able to go out and spend like 200 mil and then go, wait a second, this isn't working. I need to spend another 150 mil just to correct my mistakes.
All right, BX kind of said Chelsea are in an oddly similar position that Arsenal were in. And we said this on Sunday. We can see now the mistakes that other clubs are making because we've lived it the last 3 or 4 years. The defender was a Tuchel signing, Koulibaly maybe.
I mean, he's a name though. He's a big name though, right?
Yeah. Chelsea entitled fan base is starting to understand that spending money doesn't always win you success. We've seen that. Arsenal, we've seen it around the league. You can spend money, and roughly teams will spend the same amount of money with different results because of the setup within the team. Brighton had no divas with mega egos, and that's the biggest difference, I think, here.
Now, there is another nice facet about this Chelsea situation, which kind of really tickled me. And again, this is going back to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He now finds himself in a position that it's obvious that he's surplus to requirements at Chelsea, and I think especially after the situation that he found himself being a sub, that I think he's sort of made it known that he's not happy at Chelsea, but he's kind of snookered himself now because of the FA ruling. He's already played for 2 clubs this season. The only 2 clubs he can play for this season is Chelsea or Barcelona. There will be no third club. So unless Barcelona are going to take him back, and we all know that Barcelona are up the Swanee when it comes to their finances, they're all over the place with who they can keep and who they can't. Do they want to add this other conundrum in? Seems like Mr. Aubameyang may have, painted himself into a bit of a corner there.
Potter, Don Juan said Potter is missing that arrogance. He's a nice guy, and nice guys finish last in football. I thought he was going to be tougher than this, and I think he's going to have to maybe get tougher as well. We've seen Ten Hag.
Right. I've had supply teachers that were tougher than Potter.
Potter will get 200 million to play with in the summer. I think we're heading.
That doesn't help.
I know, and it's great, Gary, because I think we're heading into an area where I'm going to call it the Arteta effect. Okay, Arsenal stuck by Arteta and stood with him when things were going bad, and it's come full circle for us. Worked for us. I think other teams are going to try and do the same thing, and try and give these managers time. And
why would they get rid of Thomas Tuchel in the first place? It made no sense. I don't understand that. He was doing okay there. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't think he got along probably with Todd Bowley, to be honest.
But after he got fired, and he was on the phone to them, like saying to them, don't do this. Apparently, give me a chance. It's we can. There's some stuff to be done here. So he wanted the job. It wasn't like you're fired. All right, fuck you. I don't care anyway. He fought to be kept. So it just doesn't make sense.
Big up the Thunder Road. You're always in here asking people to hit the thumbs up. So we really, really do appreciate that. Doing great stuff in there. Des the Enforcer is here.
Hi,
guys. Good to see you, Des. All the top managers have that arrogance. Klopp, Pep, Conte, Mourinho, even Arteta has it. So
Arteta did not have that. You're saying now? Did he have that when he first got here?
When he won the FA Cup, he said, "Believe in me, guys. Believe in me." That was what he said when the final whistle went when we won the FA Cup. Believe in me.
Oh, all right. Maybe I'm looking for something else, I guess.
I don't see Potter. When I mean arrogant, maybe arrogance is the wrong word, but I just don't see. I'm not saying that all managers have to argue with the referee and the linesman about every decision. I'm getting that, but I just see some managers to me are better off being coaches than the manager. And I'll give you an example of it, actually. And you might not know this name, Gary, but some out there might remember. Do you remember Glenn Roeder? Do you remember Glenn Roeder?
Yeah, Newcastle.
Glenn Roeder was a manager at Newcastle, and I think maybe West Ham as well. And Paul Gascoigne said of Glenn Roeder that he's one of the best coaches that he's ever worked with. But that's for coaching. As a coach, some people don't have the personality to be the face, to be, what I'm getting at, to be the face out there that's representing. And I think Potter kind of suffers a little bit from that. I'm not saying that he has to ride around on a unicycle, juggling chainsaws and like puppies for every like press conference, but he has a little bit like the Gareth Southgates. Even Gareth Southgate seems has a little bit more about him than Potter seems to have. And I just think when you're getting paid the wages that you are, comparing it to what some of the players are, sometimes you have to let everybody know that you're the gaffer. Yeah. You are the gaffer. And I've got a feeling that Graham Potter's a sort of bloke that if I was working for him, I could maybe start turning up 5 minutes late here and there. And then maybe a few weeks later, I'm now turning up 10 minutes and I'm walking and going, sorry about that, boss. I've been on time. Just had a problem with that. Yeah, no problems. It's one of them ones. Like you keep taking and taking and taking.
We will leave it at there for Graham Potter.
Yeah. Well, I was on a roll.
No, you were. I wanted to be able to.
Ray just cut me off at the
I wanted to be able to fight with you, but you put too much stuff out there.
It's an Arsenal.
I'm not going to be able to keep up with it all.
I want to.
I'm happy to move on.
I want to blend from Chelsea and Potter.
Tony when you need him.
The segue will be João Felix.
I saw this comment and I wanted to talk about it because he would have been fine with us.
Felix,
if what you saw today, from what I saw today, the reason why he got the red cards, he was just trying to do anything he could, and you guys even said it. He looked like he was out there. He was probably trying to lead as much as he could and show, like, look, this is how we need to do this, and he was trying his hardest to get something out of this game, and just a little too much with that tackle there. I mean, he's not. The only reason why he's going to get a red is because of exactly what happened there. Right, that's Nketiah coming in late in the game and trying to put a tackle in and doing it all wrong and getting a red card and kicked out. Right,
it happened.
So I think that was more. That wasn't like he's a bad player kind of say. It was more like him pressing and put a lot of pressure on himself to actually perform. He was actually performing pretty well. He was performing by himself.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I think don't look at what Des is saying too literally, and I think of what I'm about to say. I'm sure Des would agree. When Des says, "I'm glad that we didn't get Felix," I say the same thing. I'm glad we didn't get Felix, but the reason is that me and Des are glad that we didn't get Felix is because he snubbed us. We don't like getting snubbed. Well, we would have probably taken him with open arms, but he snubbed us. Hold on. Sure. He snubbed us. And then he got a red card, and it's all going badly for him at the beginning. And we relish in that because we're like,
I'm
yours.
Laughing.
He didn't come to the Arsenal.
I get
so
that.
We're glad that we didn't get him. Do you know what I mean? But secretly, had he come to Arsenal, we would have loved it.
No, for sure. So I just want to play the devil's advocate.
Vlahovic, he snubbed us, Vlahovic. So
yeah.
On your way.
But when they go and they make that decision and they leave, they don't come to Arsenal. They can't come back now, right? They can't come back now.
No.
And the only reason why I think but Arsenal should have gotten, tried to get Felix is if it's the last week of the window, the Mudryk thing's not working out, or it is working out, and they still need a second player to come in. Then I would say bring him in, right? Because then at that point now you've got two attackers out there, and that's going to help us. But I wouldn't have done it unless it was a last resort. Kind of, you know what? We know this one is easy. We just paid him the money, and we use that to maybe get us a title. All right, because he can do that. He can help us. He can come off the bench and do that. He can work within the system. Arteta's he's not gonna rush him, right? Like Chelsea rushed that kid on the pitch, right?
The whole thing with Felix came down to numbers in the end.
Yeah.
Arsenal were not prepared to meet the numbers. Manchester United were not. Funnily enough, Manchester United were not prepared to meet the numbers.
And this is another thing, right?
Chelsea were, and Todd Bowley was.
Yeah.
When did loan fees start sneaking into the equation? I remember a loan was a loan, right? You took a player on. It was either because they were young and they couldn't get minutes, and you were playing in a division or a place where they could. or there were maybe surplus to requirements and that, and you would work out a percentage of the wages. Is it going to be 50-50? Is it going to be 40-60? Now all of a sudden you're paying millions to loan players just to have them there. When did that start happening? I don't like that. I don't. That should be something that FIFA should get on that and stamp that shit out. Wages.
Well, it's agents and it's clubs that are super rich as well. Don once said, "I don't know."
Poor agents. My heart bleeds for them. You know what I mean?
Agents have players like, agencies have actors, and they need to find jobs for them. You know what I mean? So that's what they did. And Simeone did not want Felix at the club because, they realized they made a very expensive mistake with this player.
Yeah, and and the thing that they did, which we do, is as soon as they extended his contract and loaned him out as well. So he's tied down to a lot more money now than he was before. And if they do still want to sell him, it's going to cost more. Than there's a reason. We do that all the time, right? We did that Holding. We did that to a couple other players, right, where we kind of extended their contracts when we didn't need to, because supposedly that increases their worth. I don't think Felix requires that, but they did it anyways, right? Because he was going to be gone at a certain time. So yeah, the fact that initially it looked like they were going to easily sell him, and now they've extended his contract, seems a little strange, right?
No, I have the answer, Gary. I think it was this morning or yesterday, because I was thinking the same thing, right? They're saying they don't get on. Simeone doesn't get on with him. He doesn't get on with Simeone. Doesn't like the tactics. But the loan's gone out, and there's no option to buy. And I thought that's curious. So you thought that there would be an option to buy in there, so that they don't have to worry now about trying to find another suitor the next time around. But I was reading this morning or yesterday about Simeone coming to the Premier League. So it seems to me that this is just like a small separation until the end of the season. That Felix goes back to Atletico Madrid. They'll be getting in a new manager, maybe one that can work with their prize asset in a better way. And Simeone, to me, looks like he's leaving Atleti and coming to the Premier League. So I wonder where he'll be going if he's coming to the Premier League. Across the road?
Yeah, there would only be a few places, Simeone.
The article was talking about how gorgeous his girlfriend was and how he'll be bringing her to the Premier League. And I was reading between the lines. I'm like, yeah, she fit, but where's he going to manage? That's what I was more interested in.
Yeah, exactly. Simeone would play 11 defenders if he could get away with it. And yes, we do, Big Spinner.
You take a bit of Burnley, you take a little bit of Newcastle, you take a bit. you just sprinkle it. Because you look at how Newcastle played us, right? If they played anybody, if they play a lot of teams like that, it'll be no fun for them at all. No fun at all. Football would just die. What?
I still believe that they made that difference for us. That was Eddie Howe tossing and turning the night before. Keep getting out of bed. His wife said, "What are you doing?" Puts on a lamp. There's a whiteboard. He's changing the stuff around. She's like, "Leave it out." That was all because of us. They'll be playing us their usual way in the next game, guarantee it.
Yeah.
And that's a compliment. I like that.
Yeah, those first 15 minutes definitely. I mean, we always talk about it. We come out banging the first 15 minutes, and if we get a goal, you're in trouble. And most of the time, teams are lucky because we don't score early, right? But they continue to play the same way. Eventually, we score. Newcastle's like, no, that's not going to happen anymore. And they shut it down. They did what most teams do to us, try to beat us up and slow down everything, and that worked for them. If that Nketiah goal goes in, bang, we're back in business again. That's why it's nice to be able to have people come off the bench for us, right?
Yeah,
the Spanish Burley. If we could. I mean, I don't know why, but I believe he should have brought in Fabio, right, Vieira, late in that game just to see what he could do. Yes, that's the man's name. I don't know.
I don't recognize that name.
Fabio. We'll talk about Fabio later. Don't worry. Okay. This transfer is getting closer and closer. It's like Austin Powers, where
if he gets any closer, it'll be fucking behind us.
He's like Austin Powers, where he's going to run that guy over with the tar macadam thing, the flattener. But he's going so slow. it's going inching
I always
closer.
hear it's close to 70 mil, so it could be 51 mil, right?
Plus 20.
Which is closer than 50.
I think it's our third bid now we've submitted. Is
This
it
is
our
the third
third
one,
bid?
yeah.
Very good.
I would never submit more than a third bid. Third bid is last bid, man, for me.
The
That's
third
it.
bid should the
Third
third
bid,
bid
no.
should be an easy yes, or else what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like it should be like you shouldn't even be like expecting them not to like just click the return button with like the yes on it and that's it and be moving. You know, like the
Yeah.
auto answer thing that pops up on your phone when you get the message and you just hit it. That's what it should be because we don't have time to be wasting going back and forth. This thing's taking too long as it is, right? When you start putting numbers down and the player wants out, you want the money, stop it, you know.
If this goes
All
beyond the
right.
third bid, then
It's
someone in our
it's
department, I don't
70
know what they're
mil.
doing. That's not how you do.
Yeah,
That's not how
70
you
mil
do
plus
dealings.
add-ons, right?
Plus 20. Yeah. So
If he gets us the Premier League, they're gonna get the 20 easy.
Shakhtar are going to get close to what they wanted in the end. So unfortunately, that's
It
what
doesn't really look good on the Edu, has it? As it basically looks like, inch by inch, he's just basically just giving them what they wanted, what they fucking asked for at the beginning.
yes.
You know, it's like you have to know when you have to put the poker face on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
If
are
that
digging
makes
their
any
heels
sense,
in, as Des says. They are digging their heels in. So,
Yeah.
but we do seem very determined, and maybe Arteta really wants him. So,
You
this
fucking
will
better
be
be worth it,
Arteta's
man.
Pepe. This will be Arteta's Pepe. I didn't want to have to frame it this way, but everyone's going to say it. It's going to be our record signing.
Well,
I'm
based on
worried.
the
And
money we
Pepe will be
spent,
on.
right? You
Worried.
you have White at 50, you've got Partey at 50, you've got uh, Jesus at what 55 or something like
45.
that, 45.
Yeah.
Like those three players there are key to what we're doing right now. For what is it going to be 80, 88 or something like that is how the number 88 million pounds when it all said and done.
It's going to be like Darwin
He
Nunes. But
he has to be like there is no there once he's ready to play, he's on the bench, for example, to start. It's, he's coming on. Like you know what I mean? He's coming on. If he's not coming on, what was all that analysis and recruiting and
he
scouting
can't.
all about?
Okay, he's going to. He's
If
not
this
going to
guy
start.
isn't Pele and Maradona wrapped into one, then I'm gonna have fucking
I
questions.
didn't
You know
say
what I mean?
that, but you know what? He has to be like when Arteta looks at his bench and goes, "I need to," you know, it's not that Saka or Martinelli are doing bad. It's just that I need some fresh legs and I need something different to show the defense.
Yes.
Boom, he comes on and it just changes things, right? And immediately you see the change, just like you saw when Xhaka and Zinchenko came on. The game changed and they barely touched the ball.
Yes.
It has to look like that,
Well, they
and
did
it
touch ball. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, point well taken. Stan Edu could have paid 100 million 2 weeks ago. We don't
Well,
want to
no, I
be that.
mean you've got to negotiate, right? But there's ways
Yeah.
of there's ways of negotiating. I mean, if we're going to go back for a fourth bid, then that's at the stage where you do exactly the same bid that you did for the third one, but that's when you add that £1. That's when you do the £1 thing that Wenger did that time ago. Is it to say like you're taking the fucking piss now or what?
This
What do you want?
was
What do you want? 88 million and some fucking Ferrero Rochers. I mean, what's it going to take to get this over the line?
you
this
ain't
know?
one of
like
them, so I'm gonna have to renege on that deal.
yeah. This is like Kieran Tierney.
Hey, give me an open package and tell me this is gonna seal it. I
Kieran
think this
Tierney.
bite marks
I was
this
just
bite
testing
marks on
it.
my
I was
chocolate,
testing them.
man.
I was testing them to make sure.
Kieran Tierney was 3 bids, and we got it in the end, but much lower scale, 25
Yeah.
million in the end. This will be, probably our record signing, and
I'm at the stage where I
Darwin
don't even want
Nunes.
him. I'm seriously, I'm at the stage where I don't even want him. I
Yeah,
want him.
Darwin Nunes. He's having a good season, but people don't think about Darwin Nunes as having a good season. You look at his bare numbers; he's scoring goals.
How's Jadon Sancho's season going?
I don't know. Probably not that great. Not that
I
great.
worry that I really worry about I wish I didn't, but I worry that this kid's not going to be able to live up to his price tag. You know,
Listen.
I don't see how he can.
I
think this kid's Falterdine from the start if we get him, because everything he does, right, it will just never. The headlines will always be Arsenal's record signing does really well, or Arsenal's record signing does absolutely pants. He's not going to be able to get away with it. Get away from it.
Respectfully, I disagree. We now have a style of play, Gary.
Yeah.
We now have a style of play, Stan, that we can slot a player in with coaching and know what he's doing, and we can get the best out of him.
Part of this is the way that the club is run. Like you said, like if this was like the way that Manchester United was run, in the past, I think they're better. They might have a better manager now to basically, like you say, I think Arteta now is in a better space where he can bring in a Mudryk and spend all the money in the world on him, not play him, and not care what you think. I think that's the problem. People care what you think. What all those people think. You spent 88 million not even playing him. You're an idiot. Guess what? If he comes in and does he doesn't have to start immediately right away based on what I think Arteta's going to do anyways. Unless he comes in and he's smoking, and he's really hot out there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to rush him. I think he's going to get acclimated to the squad and then see. I mean, to me, he is going to go through what Erdogan went through. We're not going to see the real him until the summer, anyways. So I'm not going to be concerned because I don't think he's ready. But I think they wanted to get him no matter what. So that's the man they're gonna. Maybe this season everybody's gonna be complaining because he didn't play enough. But next season, that's when he'll kick off a little bit after going through Arteta's whatever training regimen or whatever it is, right? But he does show. I think he does have certain skills that we'll enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So did Jovino.
Chris said.
So did Jovino, and he played in a far better league. I've never been more worried and concerned in the background about a transfer at Arsenal ever. Well, in all the transfers I've seen that I've come in. Just because, right, we're at a stage where we cannot afford to get it wrong with a player for the amount of money that we're hearing it's going to cost to bring this lad in. We can't afford to get it. We couldn't afford to get the Pepe one wrong, really. I mean, I was looking at people talking yesterday.
You couldn't afford to get Ramsdale wrong. You couldn't afford to get White wrong, right? You couldn't afford to get So and so far so good though, right?
Bigger. This is really much bigger. I've seen people talking about players that we could get rid of online, and Pepe was being valued at around 15 million.
Let me ask you a couple of questions then, Stan. Do you trust the profile of player that Edu and Arteta have been identifying?
Most of them, yeah. Most of them. They've not been. It's not been 100%. It never is. But
you feel more confident than not, right? Is it just the valuation, the value of the player that we're going to spend? Is that your main concern?
Yeah, I think he's overvaluated for a start. I mean, you look at what. You look at what you could have got him at, last season. I think he's massively overvalued, and I know that you do have to pay sometimes a little bit over the odds to get the one that you want. And there's nothing that wants him to work out if this is who we're going for. I want him to hit the ground running. I'm an Arsenal supporter. I want Arsenal to do well. But I honestly believe that for the amount of money that we're being touted to be spending, where Arsenal is right now as a club in our trajectory to get to our goals, I think that the sort of money that we're talking about could have been better spent on two positions, and you could be spending around about the same money. That's my own personal opinion. Therefore, if we spend all of this on one person and it ends up like a Jadon Sancho, we can't afford to just bury it in the garden and continue like it never happened. We cannot do that. And as I mentioned, Nicola Pepe was a 72 million outlay. It wasn't all paid in once, but we're still viable to pay that money. And people are talking about selling him for 15, perhaps 25 million, the most. I don't want us to get into that situation again.
Yeah.
So that Mikel Arteta's won me over. I was never Arteta out. You know that. I had a scale, and I got up to a point where I was 90% that I wanted them gone, 10% that I was still hanging in there, and that's really changed. But I'm not going to lie to you that I'm worried about this transfer and what it could mean to Arsenal. I'm sorry.
I agree. I agree with you as well. And Gary, I know we've always said it at 50 or 60 at the most. This is going to push us beyond Pepe money, and even Rafinha was touching levels that I didn't want to go too far beyond what we were trying to do for Rafinha. So yes,
but that money you can, but with that kind of money for Rafinha, you look at that and you think to yourself, well, he's coming from Leeds to Arsenal. He's played every other team that those teams play against. And we're not asking him to play in a position. We're not asking him to play in a position or do a job that he's not used to. If you do pros and cons and a bit of paper, you have a lot in the pro side. But with Mudryk, I seem to have a lot of cons.
Yeah.
You know what?
Far outweigh
the one thing he has that's on the pro side for Arteta, anyways, is that he wants to come to Arsenal.
So do
everybody else. Everybody else that we're talking about, they didn't want to come here. Rafinha didn't want to come here. Vlahovic didn't want to come here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, I don't know where it sits in the priority in terms of because that's the only thing that to me is the only thing that Arsenal. That's when you know that they got the players when they want to actually come.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, when we don't get the big deals or the big popular picks, it's because they don't want to come to Arsenal. And you know what? Now those players are gone elsewhere, and whatever they pick, they can pick who they want. It's what I mean. They can pick who they want to come. I have no doubt if they want. I believe if they went after some of these players, they would have been able to get them. You think Gakpo wouldn't have wanted to come here if it was like if we had been chatting with? I don't think we were talking to him that often to make it work, but I think he would have come here as well.
Yeah.
Okay, look at Teabag, right? He came from the Portuguese league.
No, there's no player here named. I don't know what player you're talking about. Can you?
You'll have to.
What is his mom?
Feel free to sit this one out, then, Gary.
What is his mama calling? What is his mama calling?
Feel free to sit this one out. She calls.
Hey, you don't want to call people by their nicknames. Come on.
All right, come on.
But Teabag though, right? But seriously though, right? We got him from a much better league. You would say he's coming from the Portuguese league, and look what happened to him in the last game. For the first 60 minutes, when I was watching on Twitter, not everybody, but I was seeing a lot of tweets of Arsenal fans saying that Teabag was rubbish. He was no good. He's not ready. He needs to go out on loan. Blah blah. Basically saying that he was not good enough to even be playing against Oxford. Right? What happened when we brought on? The reason that he was playing so badly, in my opinion, was that he was shackled because he was having to babysit a Sambi Lokonga who was having big problems. He was having big problems on the day, Sambi, and that inhibited Teabag's game.
And that's what happened all the way through the Europa League. That is exactly what happened in the Europa League.
But once Zinchenko and Xhaka came onto the pitch, because we had that little bit of added quality now comes into the team, that now gave Teabag more time and space to operate in, and he saw that the fruits of that was 2 very, very good assists, which enabled us to win the game.
Yep.
No, what you're talking about is exactly what we saw in Europa League, both to Erdogan and to Xhaka, because they both had to roll and support Sambi each time they played with him,
and it inhibits him.
And
a shackle.
You can't. He brings everybody down because now you can't even do your own job. You got to protect him.
Exactly.
And he's not even trying, it seems, to do at least something that where you're like, all right, I don't have to do that for you, right? I don't either have to. You're gonna run back and make a tackle. You're going to turn up field and attack the offense. You're gonna do something for me in the middle of this pitch. Help me out, please. And he just seems to be just jaunting around the midfield. That's why I'm like, what is wrong? That's why I kind of like I'm disappointed in him because I'm like, it's not like you don't have good examples around you. What is he looking at? Partey shows you how to play it one way. Xhaka shows you how to play it one way. El Neni shows you how to play a different way. You have all these examples of ways to play in the midfield where we can get something out of it. He doesn't do it. What does he do?
He's got to work hard. He's got to.
I find it hard to believe that this lad was a captain of a team in Belgium. I'm like, you expect someone to have a little bit more wherewithal if the manager was saying, you're my extension on the pitch now. I can't be on the pitch. I need you to be my conduit to the team. And I'm looking at Sambi Lokonga and I'm like, I don't see how that could ever be.
Him being a captain is surprising, as you say. He's a captain, right? When the team is down, he's supposed to bring them up. When the team is messing up, he's supposed to get the job done right. He can't even get his own game right now. Yeah. He's surrounded by leaders all around. So surrounding him are all the leaders of our team, right?
Who signed Lokonga, by the way? Just out of interest.
That had to be Edu, right? Yeah.
So it's the current rating. So again, that's what I'm saying is right. Mistakes can be made. Mistakes can be made. He's a cheaper one, though. He's one that if we make a mistake at a Sambi Lokonga level, we can somehow absorb that, right? I don't want to see this again. Sorry, Gary. I just want to say I don't want to see the same thing happening with a similar case now with a Mudryk. I'm just thinking of teams that will play us against a low block, and Mudryk doesn't get the joy.
Let me get caught up a second here with the chats, and we'll continue this conversation with Lokonga. I wanted to get into Lokonga. All this for another winger.
I'll be right back, lads. I'll be right back.
So, all this for another winger, but what will we do if when Partey's right quad goes? I think you need to boost your team. You're going to win. The only way you're going to win the league, Gary, is by scoring goals. So yes, we're
not scoring goals if we can't even.
If you bring Mudryk in,
control the middle. We can't control the middle. We're not scoring goals, and we know this. That's why we struggled towards the end of the season. Partey's out of there. It doesn't matter who you put in there. We need some. We don't have an answer for Partey in regards to controlling the middle so that we can attack.
What we have is inadequate quality that may fill in the gaps for a few games, not for a long time. And we need Partey to be mainly fit for the rest of the season. We can't have Partey being out for 3 months with 5 months to go in the season here. So really, we're getting into that stage where Partey's had 24 games each of the last 2 seasons in the Premier League, and we're getting into that territory.
That's why he can't play, and that's why I've said it. Yeah. I don't say it much anymore because it doesn't seem like they're going to get replaced. It doesn't seem like there's any good replacement for him, right? Or backup or a player. There's no similar style player to him that we could pick up. Like if we're going to spend 88 million on a player, buy Declan Rice.
Yeah,
it won't matter who's playing in up top for us. They're not getting by us, right? We're moving the pitch. We're moving the ball up the pitch really easy.
Declan Rice is a good player, right, Gary? He's playing in a bad team at West Ham right now. He's struggling, but you put him in that Arsenal team instead of Partey, and he won't.
Well, it's not even instead of Partey; it's instead of Xhaka. Okay. And now Erdegaard gets even more freedom to distribute the ball because guess what? They're not getting once they get past Erdegaard, it's got the two towers there basically going, nah, that's not happening, right?
Yeah.
And it does open up Declan a little bit, and you got Partey behind him. I think
where are we weakest right now, Gary? Position wise,
same position we've always been, behind Partey.
Okay, but no, if you on the field, you can put your best
our weakest position on our pitch.
Striker.
Hello, Mrs. Stan. She just walked by. I saw her smile. Our weakest position on our pitch right now?
Yeah.
Wow. That's really tough because our starting 11 can beat anybody on the pitch, so it's hard.
Goalkeeper? Hot take, goalkeeper?
I guess so. His distribution isn't what we want, right? It can be better.
Thunder Road is right. Should have gone for cover for Partey first. We all listen. Partey's the one thing that's going to make our.
This will make Mr. Tom cry. We should have just spent 70 on Tyler Adams, right? He's going to be around for a long time.
Arul Selvin is here. Good to see you back, Arul. Even if Mudryk scores 1 goal but wins us the league, it will have been worth it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I know the price tag troubles all of us, but we can also say it's not our money. The club
This
is
deal,
spending.
I think that this sort of deal could literally finish Mikel Arteta if he doesn't get it right. Because as I mentioned, the sort of money that we're talking about, and what is that I believe that the only stumbling block to stop us now from reaching our goal, which our goal should be now winning the league. Our goal should have changed from just getting into the Champions League. The only roadblock, the only stumbling block is a lack of depth. And for the sort of money that we're spending on this lad, I think that we could buy 2 players. And 2 players that would definitely be able to, would be able to help us. You could go to Barcelona. You could go to Barcelona right now and say, okay, we're interested in Rafinha or Ferran Torres. Either one. This is what we're willing to pay. Have a word with them. If any of them say they're up for it, then we'll sort out the personal terms. Let's get this done. I mean, I don't understand why some deals need to be so protracted. You want to sell that player?
They want this player. That's the thing. They want this player. They want this player. They want this player. The same way they wanted Erdogan, they want this player.
Supply
they have a reasoning behind it. This is who they want. So
we wanted Thomas Lamar once. Remember that? 92 million that we were going to.
That was in the bad old days. There's not much quality out there. 2 or 3 positions will be hard to find.
What if he turns out to be like Javinho?
Don Juan says
really fast and that, and then
the reason why we're in this situation now is because last January we did not get one player. You get one player. Think about any of the one players we could have got in that January window that we were that were associated with our name. Right, any one of those players outside
we could have got this lad for maybe 30% cheaper.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I thought that thing fell through. That's why we didn't end up getting him. They didn't want to sell him for 30 or 40.
No, they did, didn't they? Because he was. Wasn't there a bid for him for 40 million? For was it Newcastle or was it Burnley? A team put a bid in for 40 million, and he turned them down because he didn't want to play for that team.
A lot of things going on we're not always privy to. BX going to say Arsenal weren't attractive for many years. There's a stereotype associated with us. We are changing that now. There's talk of Milinkovic Savic loan, another loan that might happen. Lokonga needs to go on loan. I agree with you, Des. Right now we need bodies in the squad, and Lokonga is one of those bodies. But we
saw a tweet. You don't. He is not helping you.
Gary,
he's not helping you. You know what?
There is no way. Cup games.
He won't.
You want Partey
you saw him. He struggled against Oxford. It only gets harder as we move along. He's going to look worse against better teams, and we're not even talking about Premier League teams. We're talking about League 2 or whatever.
I agree.
Right? I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet that said, "I do have a warped sense of humor." That said something like, "Why can't we just send Lokonga to Shakhtar Donetsk as some sort of a make weight for Mikhail Mudryk? He can either play football for them or pick up a rifle. It's up to them." Yeah. I'm not saying I agree with that sentiment, but
I watched Lokonga. He doesn't seem to be good at anything. What is Lokonga's superpower? Don Juan. He was hard. Arsenal players, Tomiyasu wasn't very good in the first half. Tomiyasu wasn't good either. Who else did I note?
He came with receipts though. He locked down Ronaldo with his YouTube clips, right? But you don't got any of that from Sambi. What
James Fernandez, good to see you back.
I always remember as well when we first brought him in. And we had a problem in midfield, and Mikel Arteta just snubbed El Neni and went straight to Lokonga. And I remember sitting there going like, "That's going to bite you in the arse, mate. You're going to have to."
You said that you were saying that the whole time. You're like El Neni has to be the first one off, or else we're in trouble. And the first thing he did, like you said, and we're like, "Damn." And you know what? We haven't learned from that because he's still getting opportunities. And for me, Tavares actually played better. And we sent him off. Why did we send him off? And Zombie, you know what it was? Zombie just didn't have enough enough time on the pitch to say, you
We
know what? I think he's not going to work.
we could send Tavares out on loan because we were getting Zinchenko and we had Tierney. We had enough cover.
I think something must have been with Tavares, right? 2 games he got hooked, right, very early by the manager, which is not a good sign. So he seems to be thriving where he is. He still had a few problems. He seems like he's a bit of a character, but maybe the environment at Arsenal just wasn't right for him. Do you know what I mean? The personality, maybe similar to Guendouzi. Not saying that they're bad players or anything, but maybe their personalities just did not rub right with Mikel Arteta in some way. And I've got a feeling it's probably similar to Guendouzi. I think Tavares is a bit Guendouzi-ish, bit of a lad. Do you know what I mean?
You
doesn't read the room sometimes with his comments. Wouldn't it be like me?
No, I was looking it up, and you're right. It was 30 million euros for Mudryk.
Yeah, back in the summer.
See, that's a very big. It's a very big leap, isn't it? And you would have to think that if you know we seem so hot in this kid, like he's the one. No, this is the one. We seem so focused on him that they must have had focus on him back then as well. They must have had focus on him back then as well.
Yeah, couple of things there. He's obviously had some profile with Champions League games. He scored 3 goals, I think.
Notwithstanding,
but also then Shakhtar have looked around and said, well, there's an example of both Manchester City and Manchester United of players who have moved recently of similar skill level, Grealish and Anthony, and even maybe not Gakpo. They're not choosing Gakpo as the example.
If I had the choice of signing Mudryk for 88 million and the choice of signing Ferran Torres for 55-60 million, I thought, to me, it's a no-brainer. Ferran Torres was really good when he played in the league, really good, and he can play in a variety of positions as well. He's not wedded to one position. We don't have to spend time working with him to see if he'll work on the right or we can work through the middle. He's ready. He's oven ready in 3 positions.
I think what we really like, I think what Arteta really likes about this Mudryk player is what seems to be his electric pace that he's got. He's able to carry the ball, and he's able to get on the end of things and make things happen. And I think he's maybe a difference maker if he comes to us and settles quickly enough with Zinchenko's help. He could be the difference maker. You know, that extra boost that's needed to push a 5-point gap against a City team that doesn't look like
I bloody hope so, Ray, because
doesn't look like it's coming for us. Really they're not hunting us down yet, but you know, losing in the cup as well against Southampton. We'll talk about that. BX kind of said, I think Rafinha would jump at the chance to play against Barca. We could meet them in the Europa and he'd be available. Well, they have to get past Manchester United first, right?
So another subject. I mean, if you spent a lot of time on the Mudryk thing, everyone can hear that I'm panicked about it. I'm not saying that,
you're just like 15, 20 million. You're just about 15, 20 million panicked.
But we were talking about at the beginning before we started the show, Ray, and I was saying to Ray that I've never been one to believe in conspiracy theories against Arsenal. They hate us, they're against us, it's us against them, and blah blah blah. I've always thought you make your own luck with referees. Try never to give referees the opportunity to dictate a game. Play better than what you can. But I'm beginning to see now recently that there is a fucking conspiracy against Arsenal. There is. And you saw the tweet that I posted today from the footage of the Chelsea and Fulham game. And there was that moment where it's the same referee as well. I didn't realize it's the same referee from the Oxford game, surrounded by about 5 or 6 Fulham players. No different to Arsenal appealing to the referee in our game about a penalty that we thought was a good penalty. And obviously we have to appeal directly to the referee in the game because there was no VAR.
Yeah,
there's no VAR for him.
Every team is appealing.
He couldn't go and check a screen, so our players wanted to talk to him about it. And what's happening now is that, we're being penalised for this. We're being fined or disciplined, if maybe that's the right word, by the FA for, was it the second time now this season? And
no, it's the third time this season. It's the second time in a row.
And if you go to my Twitter, right, Standerman68, right, you'll know that. Yeah, you can see for yourself. There has to be some fucking consistency here. And if nothing happens, there was another incident in that game where he had Chelsea players and Fulham players surrounding him. 2 instances.
Yeah.
Why are we being treated so differently? And I can tell you the reason why. I've been thinking about this. When Arsene Wenger first came to Arsenal, they really didn't like it, did they? Do you remember? That's where the problem started from. When we appointed Arsene Wenger, it was a bit of an anomaly. The press media didn't like it. A lot of other managers in the Premier League didn't like it. Alex Ferguson said that Arsene Wenger doesn't know what he's talking about. He should go back to Japan or whatever. Keep his nose out of it. Doesn't know what he's talking about. And then very soon, after that, we were one of the first teams to field a team of non-English players in the first 11. And there was a big fuss again made about it. And I think that ever since the appointment of Arsene Wenger, we've somehow rubbed certain people up the wrong way in their eyes, and I've never been able to let it go. Because the fact that I'm seeing what I'm seeing now with the disciplinary action that's being taken against us is absolutely fucking laughable. The things that they're saying about Mikel Arteta, about him being disrespectful. Look at the end of that game against Chelsea and Tottenham when Conte and Tommy Tickle went to shake hands at the end and they wouldn't let go, and they were, nothing happens. That's passion. That is. Mikel Arteta sticks up for his team when he thinks that there's a shout, and he's treating the game with disrespect. He's disrespectful. He's a disgrace. These words are just over the top, man. Over the top.
I've got,
and I really hope, in spite of all of their efforts to fuck us up, that in spite of that we can still reach our goals, and at the end of the season we can just go like that.
Yeah. I've got a couple of thoughts on that. Look, FA charges are not going to should not derail the results that we're going to get this season. But there is an agenda against Arsenal. I think it's been going on even before Arsene Wenger. George Graham famously talked about it, that we were docked 2 points for a brawl up at Old Trafford. But yeah, Arsene Wenger came in and it was new and it was something. And I think the media takes a hold of these things. And listen, I think this may even go back to Richard Keys at the start of all this, continuously complaining about Arteta leaving the
You've just demonetized this stream by saying that name. You do realise that, right?
Leaving the box. But this is seeped into it. Arsenal fans talk about it. We give him gas, and it becomes a narrative. And referees maybe think about these things as well, and start to.
Is Mikel Arteta really any more physical, or way he gesticulates at results and things on a touchline any more than somebody like Conte?
No.
You know what I'm saying? I would say if there was a scale of measurement, Conte would be higher than Mikel Arteta personally. I'd put him higher on the scale. You don't hear anything. You just think that he's a tactical genius and that it's all passion.
And the players, if you have João Felix going high to the knee of a player, other players are allowed to shout and protest about that. And they've gathered around
same referee as well. Same referee, man.
More than 3. I think the ruling is you're only allowed up to 3 players to do such a thing. But more than 3 players went to that referee. Arsenal have done it in the previous 2 games. Yes, we hold our hands up. We've done it. We've appealed for penalties. More than 3 of our players have appealed for penalties. But I ask you, how many times this weekend will we see something similar to that, Stan?
1,
Newcastle
2, 3,
did
4,
that.
5. There's 5 there. 5.
Newcastle,
same referee.
Yeah, Newcastle did that. Bruno Guimaraes, one of them, to get Erdegaard booked in the game we played at the Emirates, and Arteta has acted in the same way Jurgen Klopp has acted. Jurgen Klopp has been charged by the FA, so some points we have to accept.
Do you know
the
what I
charge.
also think one of the problems is, right? Because if I'm right, a new guy's just taken over as the head fucking honcho up at the PMGLL. Is it Howard Webb is now like the general up there, yeah? And apparently, he, you know, as part of his new appointment, he's going to be going around to each club, you know, to talk to each manager, to introduce himself and blah. And Mikel Arteta was like, "Yeah, I can't wait for him to come to us because I've got loads to show him and talk to him and blah blah blah." And Mikel Arteta doesn't get it. When the head guy from the PGMERL, whatever it is, comes round, it's like when the warden comes round in prison and says, you know, right, any problems? You're not supposed to go, well, yeah, the food's fucking shit and I'm being fucking beat up. No, everything's fine. It's just lip service. They don't want Mikel Arteta to tell them what the problems are. Do you know what I'm getting at? And they probably heard that and thought, you fucking rocking the boat. Well, we'll show you. Seriously, I believe it's like that because Mikel Arteta is going to try and defend us. And I don't want to hear that.
Don Juan said Wenger rubbed up the northern football establishment the wrong way. There's clear and blatant corruption, but look at regular life. It's never fair, but it goes on. Stan Conte, just his wig. Stan Conte, just
Conte syrup.
Just his wig. A third bid for Mudryk of €70 as a base, plus another reported 20. If he plays a good quota of games and Arsenal win the league, is a really good deal. If not, accept it. We should walk away. Yeah, should be a third and final bid. I'm gonna let you have your say then, Gary, about this FA corruption cause here. El Neni is a 1-year deal. We really need to address the defensive midfield depth sooner rather than later. Frank Kessie at Barcelona won't cost a fortune and was a good DM for AC Milan. Lokonga needs to get to a level where he's better than El Neni. That's the standard that we need to have at our club as well, where young players are starting to succeed and take over the mantle from older players. I haven't seen a Jordan Henderson, a player coming to Liverpool to take over from Jordan Henderson. So that's why Liverpool have been fading. Liverpool have not addressed that area, and it's something Arsenal need to do as well in midfield. So is it favoritism to the northern clubs or Tottenham? Gary, what's your thoughts on the charge of failing to control our players?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to say before I get into that one, but I did see the comment about Nuno annoying Arteta, and I believe if Sambi isn't doing the exact same thing, I don't know who is, because he's the most disappointing player on the pitch for us some days.
Right now,
So uh, these are the officials, and they're going after us. I guess they can't really laugh at us anymore because we're top of the league, right? They can't really laugh at us because some of our players are doing stupid stuff and we're getting going out there in the media and all that stuff. So that they have to find a way to bring us down. It seems, right. We've already said the officials have different rules. It's clear as day, as you said. I mean, the first time we got the players got penalized was, I think, the same weekend as when Pep kicked the bottle and it went into the opponent's dugout, right? And
Newcastle,
you're like I don't even care if he, like, I think some people say, well, you know what, he was sorry about what he said and that's why it was different. And I'm like, he kicked a bottle in there. So if somebody, that's like putting leaving a leg out, and he didn't really mean to hurt you, but he left his leg there, and studs up, red, you're out, right? He didn't mean to kick the ball, but he did. That, if that's not punishable, then there's nothing punishable that you can do, all right? Because remember in the World Cup, one of the players kicked the ball into the dugout, and it was like, well, the players had all moved. That's the reason why it wasn't that big a deal. I don't know what happened with this bottle if it hit anyone, but it just, that compared to what Arteta did, no way. And you know what? If he's not, like, if he doesn't call for the fouls, then we don't get him. We barely get him as it is, right? Supposedly we play, I remember us fans talking about us being, You have to be classy, right? Arsenal doesn't do that kind of stuff. Well, the rest of the league does it, and we get punished for it, right? You saw it in the Newcastle game. They were going after officials the whole time. They were putting fouls in. As soon as we responded in kind, guess what? Things changed, right? Because they didn't like that. They didn't like Arsenal deciding, you know what, enough is enough. We're not going to take that anymore. And so they had to change the way they officiated that game. All right. By then, it was a little too late because they got what they wanted. They got past that initial wave from us. In this one, and you win 3-0, and we're getting punished somehow for. And I think the problem is that it's not our players at all. As some people have said, it's Arteta, and basically the way that the media portrays him as being going after the officials on the sideline, and they don't want to. I don't think they want to go after him. So the only thing they can do is go after our players. Because if they go after Arteta, then the Arsenal media, the Arsenal engine, as it is, will show you every manager doing the exact same thing as Arteta and not getting punished for it. All right, the players they all do it, but it's probably a little bit less of an issue, right? Because we don't know what those players are saying and all that kind of stuff. But it for me, we shut all this up. You put a ball in the net.
When?
You put a ball in the net. You put a ball in the net, that changes everything. The other team has to respond. The officials they can't they have no bearing on the game at that point because we're going to be in control of it. So we just put the ball in the net. It shuts everything up. That's another good reason to have Mudryk come on, but it'd be nice to have more attackers come as well. All right. So I think for me that's that whole thing. I don't. We can quiet all of this noise. We just score goals.
I'd like to respond to Mr. Tom comment and the comment under that, if I may.
Yeah.
And I get that, you're thinking that, I understand that you look at the supposed big six of these teams, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, blah, blah,
We're
blah.
not the big six, Dan.
But hold on. And Mr. Tom's like, he supports Leeds and he's going, these big clubs, they're saying that, they're being treated so badly, poor them and that. And I agree with him because I said I didn't used to believe in any kind of conspiracy in that. But you look at what we're being done for, specifically what it is that we're being done for. And you look at the examples that we've noted that's happened again when Conte and Tommy Tickle. I mean, they were basically squaring up to each other. Basically squaring up like they coming in outside you can't. It was one of them. Do you know what I mean? Nothing. That was classed as passion. Oh, look at them. It's just the way that it's the reaction to it. And in the comment underneath where you say that surely we'll come with this as a fine. Yeah, surely it will just be a fine that we can pay off. But what now happens is that we're now deemed guilty of those charges. What that means is that's now put firmly into the forefront of other referees and other decisions and situations matches that are coming up because we're now got a label and we've been labelled as this problem team and you've got to watch out for Mikel Arteta and you can't give him an inch, And I don't think it's fair that we should be given that added pressure when no other team is getting that added pressure for doing the same things. So I understand in a way when you're saying it's laughable, but facts, in the words of Benitez, facts is facts. I showed you the picture. The ruling said that no more than 3 players can approach the ref. Well, there were two instances in the game today where it did happen, and it was clear for everyone to see. And if Arsenal, I say that Arsenal have 3 days to appeal, I would just turn up at the appeal meeting, and I'll just get my phone out and just even show them my tweet and say case closed.
Yeah.
Because that's it. It's done.
Actually, Tom, we finished 8th twice in the last.
Oh, and one last thing, BX Gunner, please send me that link of the Ultimate Warrior in that coat. You've got my interest.
Mr. Tom also says, surely all that will come from this is a fine. Yeah, we'll get a fine, but we'll also get that
stigma
in the head of the referees.
It just opens up the floodgates, which means from now until the end of the season, you cannot talk about what to see if there is something wrong, especially in the heat of the game. You kidding me? We keep talking about the game is dying, right? This will kill the game if the official as
love
we've
support,
seen,
mate.
makes bad calls and everybody goes around him, right? If you can't do that anymore, then that's a big problem, and it hurts the sport, man. It hurts the sport.
Yeah, we've all had a kick about. We've all had a kick out about in the park, and we all want to win that game. And we all do things in the heat of the game, and we all argue amongst ourselves. That's a goal. No, that's not a goal. That's a free kick. All this stuff, and we get in the heat of the game. Mr. Tom, I saw a full Ultimate Warrior from the Macho Man title French touch.
I want that. Please send me that information. Please.
00 Slice X is here. Guys,
you don't understand. This is a big deal. It had the coat. That's what I'm saying.
I just breezed right past, so I don't understand. it's a you and Tom thing. I'm moving on. So-called Arsenal fans are making the most fuss about the disorderly contact. I get it. You can hate the manager, but come on, support your club. Yeah, support your club and look around at what's happening with other clubs and how they're getting away with stuff. Why are we the ones that have to be a higher standard than everyone else? As Gary said, why do we have to be the classiest club in the land? That doesn't
even the Queen supported Arsenal. When we
lose games,
getting all this shit.
No, think about when we lose games and that stuff is happening. Like what, a couple of years ago against Burnley, if they had called that the way they're supposed to call it, I don't think we lose that game.
No,
right?
Yeah,
but no, we were the ones supposed to bite our lip, sit on our hands, and not do anything, and then get beat up, and then none of our fans are happy about it, and then you want us to say it's okay. Somebody's got to stand up. Come on.
Exactly.
And you talk about some of these players that you had on your squad, the Vieiras in the middle. What were they doing? Were they making sure that the law was done equally? Right? You look at those. All these fans talking all this stuff. I remember seeing Vieira making, basically in the face of the officials. Right?
And let's not forget.
No, I mean that is part of the game, and that's the way the game is different now. They do it a lot more. So you can't say no. Sit back and then yeah.
Well, as Stan said, when Arsene Wenger came, we had Patrick Vieira, we had Manuel Petit, we had a lot of foreign players, and we had the worst disciplinary record because we were getting players sent off. Now those players could go on the field, and there was 11 of them that were captains all by themselves, but there was a situation where the referees were probably not being consistent in the way that they were being refereed, because you had a Manchester United team full of English players. You had other teams that were not French-based, Dutch-based team. And we were treated slightly differently. And Arsene Wenger had that stigma of having the worst disciplinary record for years and years. But we were winning titles at the time, and we were in battles with Man United. But I do think the narrative has to simmer down. It has to calm down, because if this is going to be applied to us, then we should see other things happening to City, to Tottenham, to United, to Newcastle, especially, because Newcastle do play this kind of game as well.
They're not Arsenal, though, are they? That's the thing. They're not, are they? Do you know what I mean? Tottenham, I mean, come on,
I do think Arteta should do more of whatever winds up Richard Keys, though. All he's got to do is wander beyond those hatched lines on the sideline, Tom. I totally agree, Tom. Wind them up. And there's part of me who says we should be well behaved and it'll all calm down. But I think we're going to get fines, and we just have to keep winning games. As Gary said, score goals, pick up the points, and the biggest slap to them is 3 points each and every time we go on the field. Also, it counts against us if it comes to a head-to-head with City. Is that disciplinary? I mean, that would be a lot of tiebreakers there. I think what Stan said in response was fair, but I'm still within my rights to be amused by it. It's the top six bias, Stan. Might as well say it rather than secretly think it. Exactly. Stan, I saw it in store. Check online. All right, Stan. He's gonna hook you up, right? So basically, the refs are allowed to screw us without us saying
Got
anything.
some trade laws being broken here. Right, get me my stuff. I need it. Put it behind the
Ray
rock.
hasn't worked out yet. There are like two groups within one here. There's like a secret group embedded,
I'm sorry,
He's like,
infiltrated.
put it
He's been
behind the
infiltrated.
tree next to the rock on the side of the road. Remember that spot? All right,
starting to
thank
come
you.
to
I'll
that
go.
I'm going to start to come to that realization. Okay, I'm
A
going to dip out.
secret Illuminati group within the group.
Speaking of, I've got to go do that for a couple minutes now, and I'll be back. But I'll get you guys started off.
Well, we could talk about wrestling figures while Ray's gone.
No, we can't talk about that.
Talk about. All right, Stan. Here's your task. Talk about Oxford 0, Arsenal 3, without using the word teabag, expression teabag.
Okay. Well, the first thing I have to say about that game is that I am not digging that white kit at all. I just don't like it. Even the writing on it, it all just blends into one. It's not my favorite kit. So I really hope that we don't see too much of that kit this season. Love the cause. I'm just not a fan of an all white kit. But that game, I mean, it was quite poor in the first half. Quite slow, very lethargic. And it just seems now that when you look at the game as a whole, you only have to bring on a couple of players from the first team, and it shows you that there is a big drop off. And that's really worrying because it basically means that we've only got a first 11, I think. Maybe a first 12 if you want to add, Tierney and Zinchenko for 2 places. There's not a big drop off there. Even Tomiyasu looks like a bit of a drop off now when he comes on, to be fair. So
he's got a specific set of skills.
Right? Like Liam Neeson.
Yes, he's got a specific set of skills. And if it's not,
I will find you and I will tackle you.
No, but think about it. If it's to go in there and shut somebody down, cool. They didn't have anybody for us to shut down. We needed to just go and attack them and score. You know what I mean? But if they had like a Salah, for example, to go in there and shut down, like some people were saying that the way that he's played in the past, and then maybe he'll get back there. Hopefully, it's not a World Cup kind of hangover. But he can come in and shut down in the North London Derby. But I think when we play in those white shirts, I think we play a little. You know how you
can't even see the numbers, like Mr. Tom said.
Yeah. I used to go. I would go to a party, right? A skating party, and my parents would make sure I was all dressed up in like my like Sunday school attire, slacks and a nice dress shirt. Everybody else is in like shorts, tank top. We're going to skating party, and I'm dressed up like all like preppy and stuff. And it doesn't even look. It's not even. Everybody else is like they got on like jerseys, and I'm like, how in the world am I dressed like this? And you're all.
I'd love to see pictures
like
of
this.
That. But,
No, but and then you've got. Well, think about it. You put those white shorts on us.
Did you have a little afro?
Yeah, I had a
Yeah, man.
You got. Now think about it. You got these white jerseys.
With big collars.
No, I don't have that. But you got, think about the white shirts, like you said. I think the reason why we play like that is because we don't want to dirty the shirt.
Yeah.
You don't want to get it all sweaty and green and stuff. So we don't play like we're supposed to. It's a football game, right? You're gonna have to get dirty every once in a while. I don't think we do that. We play
no slide tackling allowed.
Yeah, it is. The shirt isn't a good. We don't get good results out of it, even though we did win 3-0. But still, I don't like it.
I can just say something that I really did like from that game as well, and it's not just from that game, and that is that Eddie Nketiah has been fulfilling what he promised. He said, "Give me starts in games, and I'll do a lot better." And I was like, "You've had loads of opportunities. You've had loads of opportunities. You've come in." And it's not been just 10 minutes here and there. You've had 15 minutes, 20 minutes. There was a 35-minute one. And I've been really scrutinizing him. However, since he's come in, he has provided. Do you know what I mean? He has provided. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man's turning water into wine. So, I'd like to ask you that. What do we do in this situation if he continues in this vein and Gabriel Jesus comes back? Should Gabriel Jesus just walk straight back into the squad? I honestly believe that we're now in a situation that if I was a manager, my style of management would now be, Eddie, it's now your position to lose. This is how it works in football.
No, I'm
This
not
is how it
doing that.
works. You're,
No.
you're in a rich vein of form. You're putting the ball away in the back of the net. Yeah.
So
It's now up to Jesus to work harder. And obviously, when you've got to rest Eddie and Jesus comes in, he's got to come in now and say, boom. You can't just put it down on the value of a player. You can't just put it down to what you bought a player in for. It's got to be what they're providing. It's got to be what they're doing. And Eddie Nketiah may be a London lad and it isn't as fashionable as coming from Brazil or playing for Man City, but he's not coming in and just being bit part. He's coming in and scoring goals and goals that are important.
Yeah.
And that cannot be overlooked, man.
A week and a half from now, we might be saying something totally different, right? Because a week and a half from now, we're going to be playing two of the toughest games he's going to have played in a while, back to back, right?
Agreed.
So that's one. Two, the reason why we are in the situation we are right now is Jesus. So if he's healthy and ready to go, he plays. I mean, you're not going to go, all right, De Bruyne is out for a bit, and you know what? The game, we're still handling things with whatever player we bring in. I think it was Gundogan, I think, was playing really well.
Gundogan,
and then KDB's ready to go back. He plays, right?
But there's not been
Virgil
a dip,
van
has
Dijk.
it?
Virgil van Dijk, right, is out for a bit. When he comes back, he's in.
But it's not like there's been a dip. It's not like he's scoring goals like Haaland, but we're losing games. Yeah. He's actually beginning to add. Players are still scoring. Yeah. We're still coming out on top. But more importantly, the guy playing through the middle is putting the ball in the back of the net. I'm being a bit of a devil's advocate with my next statement, right? Because this is a podcast. I'm being a bit of a devil's advocate, right? And as I just said, he's been putting the ball in the back of the net. Gabriel Jesus hasn't.
All right, yeah. Listen, I can bridge that because before
take it to the bridge.
Gary, I can just say I'm guilty of this. Last season, I was guilty of this. Gary knows where I'm going with this one. I got caught up in the Tavares hype because he was playing really well. He was playing really well when Kieran Tierney was injured.
I remember that.
You remember that? And I was like, Tavares is playing well. Why can't he play? Why can't he continue to play? Well, he continued to play, but his form wasn't that good, and Kieran Tierney came back and started to play well. This is competition within the squad, but I sort of do believe that your number one player in each position should play, and it's probably already predetermined. And this is probably the problem that Fabio Vieira has, is not undermining, but trying to take our club captain out of the picture and play some more minutes.
But you said it right there yourself. You said that Nuno Tavares was playing really well. As soon as he started to not play well, he lost his place again to Tierney.
Yeah, but we had to see that drop off for a game or two, right?
But this is going to be a much longer period of time that he's going to be deputizing for, and this is not a new signing. He's been around Arsenal a while now. No. He's been given that, a nice, comfortable pay increase, the shirt number, blah blah blah, and I'm the sort of guy that I want to ride this train as long as it continues. When he starts playing badly in that, I'm glad that we have someone like Gabriel Jesus who then can come in. But I think it wouldn't be fair that if we get to the point when Jesus comes back and Eddie is still doing what he's doing, he's still doing it. There's been no dip. He hasn't dropped off like Tavares did. I think it would be a little. I don't think it would be good for him to just say, "Oh, you got to go now, back on the bench."
Here's the thing as well. Here's the thing as well.
Take him off at 60 minutes. Bring on Jesus. See what Jesus is going to do. You know what I'm saying?
You and I agreed February 1st we would know more about Eddie Nketiah. I remember us saying that. February 1st. There's 3 more games before we get to February 1st. And we'll know a lot more about
everyone. Good night, everyone. Tune back in on February the 1st.
In the next 3 games, we'll know a lot more about Eddie Nketiah as well.
Agreed.
That's not we're singling him out.
But I'm just talking about thus far. Because
I'm
not looking into the future where we are right. That's what I said. If he continues in the same vein, You know, thus
You're
far,
you're saying
I'm
that, and
very
then
happy. I'm applauding him.
you watch the Newcastle game,
Yeah,
right? You watched the Newcastle game, and why did it look the way it did?
because we made them play like Bolton.
No,
We
but
made them
what I'm
change up
saying
their
is,
game
but
plan.
you have a Jesus start, and things are going to be different, I believe, in that match.
I don't know about that. You could
Well, yeah,
say
if we were,
did.
but yeah, Gary, that's exactly right. If we were playing, you're right, Gary. If we were playing Newcastle at that point, and Jesus was just coming back from his injury, and we were playing in that manner with Eddie up front, and we brought on Jesus at 60 minutes, and the game changed. That's exactly what I want to see. Now Jesus has just thrown his hat back in the ring to say,
He's our starter when he comes back. When he's ready to play, he
he walks
plays.
straight back
my
in.
book.
That's what you would do.
I think so.
I'm glad that you're not my manager, man.
We've looked better. We have looked better.
You'd be making me train on my own. After the words me and you would have, you'd be making me train on my own.
The team has to adjust. Obviously, it's a slightly different way of playing. They have slightly different patterns of play. You can't just plug and play between Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah. They're slightly different, and I think the team has had to adapt a little bit to Eddie. I think we were helped a little bit with the injury coming on December 6th. So we were away in training and we knew this was happening. Gabriel Jesus was injured. Eddie Nketiah had 2-3 weeks to get ready. No, he was going to be the guy coming in, and he's been able to. It's almost seamlessly the way he scored against Brighton, West Ham, Brighton again, because they played them in the league, and now 2 goals in this FA Cup game. And as Don Juan says here, let's keep it going, Eddie. Make yourself a hero against Tottenham and United. I think Eddie will be looking at that as well. He'll want to be scoring in North London Derby because this is a player who's, been raised in the tradition of Hale Ends,
And remember, when Gabriel Jesus comes back, it doesn't have to be. We don't have to be so pointed about it that it's either one or the other. We're in a better position because we now have variety. So let's say Jesus had been out, and the Newcastle game was him just coming back, and Eddie's been in good vein of form, and we're struggling like the way we are. At least we know now. Well, okay, Eddie, you've had your time on this one. Let's bring Jesus on and see if we can change it. That's what it's all about. Now Jesus is coming on, and he's now trying to fight for his place. I want that kind of competitiveness. I want competitiveness. I don't want it to be a one-man show that we only have going through the middle. And if Eddie can make himself in contention, that's only going to be for us, Mikel Arteta, and Gabriel Jesus and Eddie.
I'm going to be, in the absence of Tony not being with us tonight, I'm going to be the hot take guy tonight. Is Eddie Nketiah playing better than Darwin Núñez right now? Is Eddie Nketiah a better player than Darwin Núñez? Is the system, is the team better? Is the Arsenal team better that's helping Eddie do what he's doing?
Only one of them is playing in the team that's on the top of the league.
Yeah.
So
the team is also helping Eddie. Darwin Núñez has not really been helped by Liverpool. He's doing what he can.
I mean, we don't watch as much as Liverpool as you do, right? So you can tell us, right? Just tell us. That's what you want to do.
If by the time Jesus comes back, he would stand now and just have to keep on going now tonight. If by the time
how much is Dave LFC Chats paying you?
Not enough.
Not enough.
If by the time Jesus comes back and Eddie has 10 goals or more, he's in form. Yeah. I think they're going to prioritize the Premier League and FA Cup for the rest of the season. It's a good assumption that Arsenal will be playing UEFA Champions League next season, so Europa League might be sacrificed. I think the FA Cup is the third choice, definitely. I agree with Gary. Jesus would have given us something different against Newcastle.
Someone said it earlier. You make your name. You can make your name in a North London derby.
Yeah.
Eddie could really do something in this, man. Remember, he's one of our own. He hasn't cost us a penny in transfers and shit. We've been nurturing this kid from how long? If it's his time to shine, I'm all for it.
The one thing that he said, and then he's done, and one thing now that what that means to me I don't want to hear he needs 90 minutes anymore. I don't
I've
want
not
to
been
hear
his
that
biggest
anymore.
supporter. I've
No, no,
thought his
no. What,
career
what
was
I'm
over
saying
ages
is
ago.
he's shown that he doesn't. I don't think he needs 90 minutes to know how to play football the way we want him to play football. We don't need. He doesn't need 90 minutes. He said he needed minutes to show us. He's got those 90 minutes now. Coming off the bench shouldn't slow him down. It should be
No,
the exact same response that we saw from Rashford when he was sat down by his manager
good point.
was punished, and he
Against
came
Wolves.
out, and guess what? He came out a man possessed and's been
Mhm.
scoring since,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
Keita has shown us now that he can do it. So for me, I always thought that was the 90 minutes was just his way of saying that was his easy out because he wasn't
Smoke
getting the
screen,
90
yeah.
minutes. So right, nah, we know you got it in you. And if you come out if you have to come in for a match for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, you can do the exact same thing. You don't have time to. We know you can do it. So don't, no excuses, right? We
Mhm.
know you got it in you. So that's my point is more the
We've seen it.
confidence. He's got confidence now that he
Yeah.
wanted. I believe it was always there. He just needed to come out and play like, guess what? I'm going to score because his job is to score, right?
This
So he
could
comes in
be
for 10 minutes. He's going to get an opportunity to score. He's going to put it in the back of the net. That
this
should be
could
the way he thinks going into the match.
this could be the making and breaking of him because not so much the breaking of him, the making of him because he's playing in the team now with Gabriel Jesus out. He's the main man, and he's delivering for us.
Hmm.
At the end of last season, pressure was off a little bit when he came in. We were at our wits' end after losing away to Southampton, and
Let's put it.
we got
Let's
some
put this.
results. So
Let's just
back
put
in it.
this into context for one moment. Right at this moment in time, Eddie Nketiah is the starting striker for the football team that is sit atop the Premier League.
Yeah.
He should be walking on fucking air.
Yeah.
He should be
And
moonwalking. I mean, what more of a position would any striker playing in the league want to be in right now? They'd want to be in Eddie Nketiah's position, and he's not gone in that position, and he's fumbling the ball, and he's like, oh, the next game, what pressure! I've not scored in my last 4 outings. What am I going to do? He's scoring, so he should be walking. He should. I don't understand what more he needs. If he is a Goldilocks player, tell me, mate, could the porridge be any better right now?
mhm, yeah, exactly. And I think he's actually scored 7 goals now across all competitions as well. So very much up there with Erdegaard. I think he got 2 in the Europa League. He's got 2 in this FA Cup game, 2 in the league, and 1 in that
He
EFL Cup.
scored 5 in the last 5 games that he's
5 in the
played.
last 5, yeah. And
I'm
add
impressed.
that to the 2 that he got in the
I didn't
Europa
think he
League
had it in
earlier.
him. And I hold my hands
Yeah.
up. I was worried. I was like, I'm not sure this
Well,
guy is going to be able to continue to help us. And he is so far. And I take it a game at a time. And I look forward now to the next game. And I'm like, please, Eddie, let's do it again. Get a brace.
yeah. Now we are going
If you can't score, assist.
We're going to talk about it a little bit later. We are going into a cauldron on Sunday. It's not going to be easy. We all know what happened there last season as well. Let's just finish out this FA Cup second half. I thought we came out in the first half. Let's forget about the first half. Let's not even talk about the first half because it was dire. I thought we came out in the second half. I watched the back.
Yeah, the first half was basically the ballad of Sambi Lokonga.
It was horrible. It was horrible. It wasn't just him. There was other players in there. Vieira didn't play well in the first half. Tommy.
Yeah, but why? But why was that? Because he was having to babysit Lokonga.
Passing.
He wasn't able to play his game because Lokonga wasn't doing his job. And that's why
it wasn't just Lokonga's fault though, Stan. The team was not.
But look at
it brings everybody down. It brings everybody down.
But you mentioned teabag.
It's like a vortex. It just soaks it brings everything in to support him, all right?
Yeah.
Because he's like a black hole, and you get close to it, and you just sucks you in because now you have to support him more.
He doesn't get cancelled for that.
Oh, a black hole.
A black hole.
I'm joking.
No, but it's like a star, and he's just dragging you in. You get sucked into his. Oh no, it's even worse.
If we be technical.
No, but I think it's a trickle down. It's a trickle down effect where you've got this weak link, and everybody has to support. So everybody has to take a little bit away from their game to support
exactly.
the weak link, and everybody. It looks like it looks like Xhaka has to come back. Well, that brings back Erdegaard a little bit. Now it brings back your wings a little bit. Your fullbacks cannot go up the pitch as much as they would like to, because then guess what? That leaves Sambi back there trying to do something, and he's not going to be able to do it. So now you just can't, so it sucks everybody back in. So now instead of us being a lot more expansive in the way that we play, now we're a little bit more constrained. And he's just running around in the middle of it, not helping anything sometimes. And you're like, well,
as soon as you
I think you take him out and you put anybody else in there. I think it'll look anybody. I think he's not even. It doesn't even look like he's trying sometimes to do what needs to be done.
And yet he posts, I got to work hard. Work. That's what he's saying when he posts, I think, on Instagram. What do we do with Lokonga? He's going to stay the rest of the season with the team. Do we loan him? Do we sell him in the summer? What do we do?
We've had this conversation.
We're having it again.
we did this, didn't we? Isn't it? Seriously though, we have though, haven't we?
Weeks ago.
And the answer was, because you mentioned Teabag, right? The reason that Teabag looked so poor in the first half and not the second half was in the second half, when we had better quality come onto the pitch, it allowed him to do his job. It gave him time and space to do what it is that he can do.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, I'm asking you, what does the club do with Lokonga, Stan?
Take him out into the town square, put him in stocks, and throw rotten vegetables at him. Either that or loan him. You know,
he doesn't need a loan.
I mean, I don't know what, they need to have a look at what it is that they bought him for, what they thought the plan was, and see whether he still fits into that plan. If he doesn't, then they need to say, okay, we've got that one wrong, move him on. And let's try.
I don't know how you look at. I don't know how you look at Nuno Tavares and look at Sambi and don't see the same scenario, right?
I do.
There's nothing different about it. It's the same thing. He's not able to do his job. He's hurting other people around him now, because now they have to pick up the slack.
They just both don't fit.
And how many times do we have to bring people on and you see a difference immediately?
Yeah, the writing's on the wall for both of them, I think, Gary.
Both of them just don't. They just don't fit into.
Well, what we need to do.
Can that be changed? I don't know.
Combine 25 million for both players. If we can't use them, we have to turn them over for profit. For the first time, the club has to start doing these things. Get some money for the players. It's a win-win. If Eddie does well, he's a decent option apart from Gabriel Jesus. And secondly, they should get quite a good fee for a young English goal-scoring striker who recently extended his contract.
We should loan him out to the team that Vincent Kompany's managing.
Lokonga.
I mean, if he can't feel at home there and learn something there, and then I don't know what else you can do. Who's it? Vincent Kompany? Who's he managing? Burnley, isn't it?
Yep.
Send him there.
Flying high.
It's not like he's going to Burnley, under Sean Dyche. It's not like that's happening.
So, real quickly in the second half, I thought Arteta, he said he changed a few things. The distances weren't right in the first half. He got some things changed. I thought we looked even better in the first half, early stages, before the subs even came in. But we had an immediate effect when who comes on? Zinchenko for Kieran Tierney, and Xhaka comes on for Lokonga. Immediately, Xhaka's pressing in that corner, and Zinchenko combined. Vieira gets fouled, and Vieira puts in a good free kick.
If Mikel Arteta's got his head screwed on, he should be really quiet. After hours and that, he should be having a few drinks every now and again with Josh, getting to know him. And this is one of those classic examples that he could just stick a VHS in and go, showing that game and say, you see the first half and the second half? That's why you need to go and get some more money out of your old man, because the drop-off when we ain't playing that first 11 is too big. You can see that, right? It's a perfect example. However, there are a couple of things. You think to yourself, well, when we were like 2-0 up and out, why did we have to leave Saka on for so long? It wasn't necessary. I thought Saka could have been. Why? If Marquinhos is so shit, why is he on the bench? If Marquinhos can't come on with like maybe 20 minutes to go against Oxford, that concerns me. Because at the end of the day, how is Marquinhos supposed to get better and learn about the English thing if he's not playing competitive football matches?
If he can't come in, as you say, for that scenario, then he'll never play. He'll
It's
never
worrying,
play
right?
because, as I said before,
What other scenario do you
who
need?
else are we? Yeah, exactly. Well, no, what other team are we playing that we go? Well, that's Oxford level.
You're 3-0 up against Oxford. What other scenario do you need to put on a young lad to check him out and give you? What more is it? Is he that bad then? Fucking hell.
We can do that at City. We can bring Marquinhos on at City when we play them.
Start him against City.
I mean, and that's why I said when he brought on the 15-year-old again in that one game, I'm like, this
good.
This doesn't.
There you go.
It doesn't even make any sense because he's never going to play. He's not. Why for the media? Why?
Yeah.
When Marquinhos is supposedly he is a first teamer, right? He can't get on.
Very
Come
good
on,
point.
man.
Very good
So
point.
it wasn't done. It might have been good for him to keep him in the squad and all of that, but in long term, for the players you do have, you're losing them. You're losing them.
Sometimes Arteta gets these ideas. We did it with the photographer for the North London Derby and the Amazon documentary, and he did it for that kid Ethan. What's his name? Waneri. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't understand that whole thing because
you're right. Strange, very strange.
Yeah.
And but Marquinhos and Lokonga, these are the players that need to develop throughout the rest of the season into the summer and be ready for next season, because next season we're going into the Champions League. And look,
they're not ready to play.
No, we are. They're going to play Premier League games next season.
They're not ready to play Premier League games for a team that's finishing in the top two in the league, right?
They're going to have to develop the rest of this.
They're not going to because they're not going to get the opportunity. That's why I said coming into this season, what did we see at the end of the season in Lokonga that all of a sudden now it's going to just the switch is just going to flick and it's going to work.
The train's
This is
moving,
another season where he hasn't performed well. He hasn't improved to where you go, all right, he's ready to play for this team who is a top 4 team on a regular basis. Right?
This is exactly
you can't just say he's going to get on board. It's not that easy.
But
he's not
this is
doing
all bringing us full circle, right? Because no matter how good a manager is, duds happen. Duds do happen. You can't get it right all of the time. And a Sambi Lokonga, where Arsenal are right now, where we are on our trajectory, Sambi Lokonga is a dud that's manageable. If he turns out to be a dud, it ain't going to kill us. And again, when I say about going full circle, which goes all the way back to Mikhailo Mudryk. If it turns out that he's a dud, then that's something that is going to take us a fucking long time to get over. You can't sweep that shit under the carpet like you can with a Sambi Lokonga.
True. I know you're going to remember this conversation when Mudryk's in, and we'll see how it goes through the season. Lolo said, "Whoa! We ain't in the Champions League yet. We have to aspire to that, Lolo. We have to talk with chest out as if we're going to be there."
Quick plug: if you're listening in and you've not checked in these guys from Brooklyn, and it's not just an Arsenal-centric show. The thing about On the Stoop, right? It's basically a Premier League show, so there's something in there for everyone. But obviously, we've got a little bit of bias because the chairman happens to be a gooner. But Fridays they did a happy hour. It's worth checking out. So if you're not following them boys over there, and obviously if you haven't had enough of Mr. Tom over here, you can get a lot more of Mr. Tom over there as well. So happy days.
Been making fun of Chelsea all afternoon, but man, Jeff Felix would have had so much joy at Arsenal. It came down to money. It came down to money in the end. And
no, I mean I think money would have been worth it at the end of the window.
This was a decision
to take the risk if he was still available, but I don't think they were going to wait.
Yeah.
Right. So
it came down to Simeone. He wanted that boy out of there because he wanted to get a striker. Big club pressure, or is he out of position? Could be big club pressure. I mean, you're at a club now where you're expected to be.
What is he good at? Because
You're
supposedly
expected
he
to
said
improve, Gary.
no. But one, he was supposed to be a 6 or an 8, and he said which one he's good at. He's played both this season. He's been asked to kind of do the role of both to some degree. He's not been good in either one of them. So then, what is he
Listen,
good at?
I bet is one thing, one little kernel of hope that we have. If a man like Mikel Arteta can unlock Granit Xhaka, surely he can unlock.
I don't have. We don't
Sambi
have.
Lokonga.
The thing is, he doesn't have 7 years of like build up to where, all right, we're gonna try something different now, right? Or was it 4 years? 4 years, 4 or 5 years. Oh, wait a second. Guess what? He's really not good at this position that we keep playing him at. Maybe we'll try something else. We'll put better players around him, and he'll get better. Zombie is playing the same no matter who we play there around him.
Yeah,
he brings
Hey,
every.
he has had some good flashes, hasn't he? There's been some flashes, and the flashes that I've liked, he's been playing more. He's been playing slightly more advanced than a deeper role.
Yeah.
But he's had opportunities with the starting 11. He's had opportunities with the second string, and he was the one. Was it him? Was it him that was in the documentary when he was moaning around the table in the canteen about not getting? Was it him or Tavares? Was it him?
It was him.
And Eddie and Keta was like, "Ah, you think you're the only one, my friend? You think you're the only one, my friend? I ain't getting minutes either, my friend. So stop complaining. I like that." And
as he was putting marmalade on his toast.
I think you're the only one, my friend. He's putting marmite on.
My friend.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way he called him my friend. I was like, there's probably like a year apart from you, and the guy's treating you like he's like a little kid.
No, but think about that conversation like and where we are today. He got his opportunity and he took it.
Yeah.
Zombie's had his opportunity since Eddie's been in the starting lineup, and it looks like he still doesn't want to take it.
He can't be shit though. He was a captain at Anderlecht. He was in the Belgian league as a captain. Surely, if you're rubbish, I mean,
you are watching. Right? You are watching them, right? In a red shirt, right? You are watching him in a red shirt, in a blue shirt, or in a white shirt. Gary. You've seen him play. What part of his game do you look at and go, Premier League player? Yeah.
So Gary, when we got beaten by Man United, I highlighted Lokonga. Do you agree with me now?
Did I not agree with you then?
No, you disagreed with me. You didn't think it was Lokonga's fault for those 2 goals. I'm just saying. Maybe you were right about Tavares and Tierney.
Yeah. I know. Maybe I just don't like you to be right about anything. So
I'll take silence. Silence.
Sounds like someone's keeping count, Ray. Someone's keeping a tally.
Don Juan's keeping.
No, you know what? But in that, I don't know.
Go back and watch it. Go back and watch that podcast. Ronaldo actually pressured Lokonga to the sideline, and that's where the whole transition broke down on us against United. Lokonga, there's no it's obvious with Partey in the team, we're a better team, obviously. Lokonga deputizing, it's no replacement for it. There's no comparison.
No, I mean I must have
You defended Lokonga.
Well, because I thought so other people needed to pick up the slack. Once again, guess what? He weakens everybody else, right? And I always say at some point somebody's got to stand up and clean up the mess, right?
Yeah.
And usually it's our goalkeepers that would do it most of the time. In that game, we needed somebody in that back line to do it, and time again they didn't do it, even though, as you say, they got punished by Lokonga. So
these are some points in our squad. They've been projects, and we do need them to step up, and we need them to work harder. Lokonga is one of them, indeed. And Marquinhos, we need to maybe unlock a little bit more of his potential. These are players who are going to be expected to play Premier League minutes next season for us, possibly. as we play in the Champions League. We're going to have to divide minutes more and more across our squad. Anyway, El Neni pops up with the header. The Egyptian king scores for us. Love to see that. And then Fabio Vieira setting up Eddie. A great move.
Who set up Eddie?
Fabio Vieira set up Eddie for
That's the man's name. That's the man's name. You should learn it. You should figure out. You should remember what the player's name is. I mean, if you don't know what the player's name is, I'll send you a link with all the players' names in it, and you'll be okay.
It comes from Vieira pressurizing the player in midfield. The ball gets recycled back, and Xhaka plays the ball to El Neni. El Neni pass to Vieira. Vieira slips the ball inside the defender.
Who slips the ball?
Vieira slipped the ball.
I don't know that guy. This guy.
You gotta know your. You gotta know your
Teabag. Oh, Teabag's put the ball through.
No
okay.
Okay. Now you're confusing
now you're talking.
me. There's no Teabag.
Now you're talking.
Right.
Teabag's
in the terrible.
And then Martinelli sets up Eddie for the third and final goal.
Yeah.
The 3-0 win.
Things just opened up all of a sudden, and we looked much better. It makes you wonder what they see in practice. And as I said, and as I was watching the game, I was saying to myself, and I think I might even said it to you, what are they doing in practice where they don't understand how we're supposed to play when they get out there? Because they didn't look like it, right? I keep hearing an excuse, well, they don't play together and all. No, who are they playing with? The starters play.
You're right.
The starters are going to be playing, and the backups will be playing. And you tell me like Arteta's never told them how to play the style of play.
That's the comment so far, I think.
It's like Jekyll and Hyde, isn't it?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. That was Vieira in the first half, is Fabio in the second half.
You, sir, are getting a star right there, and I'll bring them out.
No
comment.
No. Stop! No, there's no. You get negative.
It's like Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk. He's like, "Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry."
And it's a little bit of a compromise, Gary. First half, Vieira.
I'm calling the guy by his name. Vieira. It's not his name.
The second half.
His name. Nope.
Listen, you know my teabag analogy.
No, there's no analogy.
You know my tea analogy, where our tea was getting stronger.
And you're calling him? No, he's not. No,
we don't teabag into the hot water.
No. Tavares called him teabag, and he gave a cool sunglasses emoji response. He loves it, mate.
No,
he loves it. You know what I mean?
So,
but just the comment above there. The comment above there, for me, what Lolo said there about El Neni, and I've been saying this for a while. For me, I don't think that there is a better epitome of what a squad player should be than Mohamed El Neni. Right? He is. We need to keep Mohamed El Neni as a squad player for as long as it's possible. He's just right. The temperament, the personality, what he gives you when he comes in. He doesn't, when he comes on the pitch, he doesn't just make up a number. He does help. And I'm a really big, I'm so glad that we still have El Neni as a squad player.
And you know what? I agree with you.
It's hard to find a player that's happy to. It's hard to find a player that's happy to slot into that area without complaining, without, you know what I mean?
It's a real good conversation, because I know what Gary's going to say, but this is a model squad player that every team needs. A player like this who's going to sit on the bench for large parts of the season, but when you bring him in, you're going to get a very good performance and a committed performance from the team.
As I said before, if you remember, I coined one quick thing before Gary comes in. Sorry, Gary, but I coined a phrase with El Neni, right? If he's only 75% as good as your best midfielder, what I like about him is that when you play him, he'll give you all of that 75%.
Yeah. So listen, we've given all that to Gary. Now he's going to debate against us. Go ahead.
No. He's supposed to be, as you say, a role player. And in that case, for me, he's your third option. The problem is we don't have a second option, right? We don't have a second option. He comes in, he plays. He's right now, he's your best second option, but he isn't the second option that you want going forward.
Yeah.
So he's going to get you, and that's the problem. And like they brought it, like even when they brought in.
What do you think he's lacking, Gary? Why he can't be a second option? What is it that he kind of lacks in your eyes?
He can't take 3 or 4 games, and you're not going to get 3 or 4 games out of him. You might get 2.
Why do you think that?
Because you might get 2, but you're not going to get 3. We saw that last season. I mean, that's why we struggled, right?
I think the way you think about El Neni in that position is the way that we have thought about Eddie and Kedia in the striking position. But if you give the player a chance,
this guy you're talking about, El Neni, how old is he? It's not like he's
30.
somebody who's going to be able to give
How old is he?
you.
How old is he? 27, 28? Is he older than that?
No, I'd say he's probably.
He's got a real hairy chest, isn't it? It's a proper rug on that chest, mate.
I mean, like I said, I don't think he's at the point where he can give us the games that we want. And like I said, I believe he's a good third string.
He's a good player, isn't he?
He's forced to be that because you did not pick up a second one, all right? That's why we're not. Yeah, I thought he was pretty old, but I think he's pretty old. But he's enjoying it,
that's okay.
And like you said, that's good to have. But he is not really your second option, really. In truth, if you're saying,
would you move him on next summer, or would you give him another year? He's 30, right? So
until we get
between
another
now
player,
and another year, he'll be 31. What do you reckon?
So Stan, it really depends on where the club wants to address their money, and it's an ongoing rebuild. Eventually, El Neni will have to move on. Whether we're going to invest in midfield, and we probably should, whether it's going to be Lokonga or whether it's going to be El Neni, who's the next candidate for moving on? We don't know. You got age considerations, but you also got ability.
El Neni is wanted by Emery over at Villa, and I'm hearing that Cedric may be wanted over at Fulham.
Yeah, and Guendouzi maybe at Villa as well.
Okay, I know that Guendouzi. I didn't know what team it was. So we get money for that, right? We have a percentage of the sell on, right? I believe.
I don't think there's a ton. I think there's a little bit. Yeah, we didn't.
No, I was reading, and I didn't read this story, but I kept seeing Arsenal to get big windfall, big. They kept saying like it was like we were going to get like. I was like, oh really?
Based on the way that deal went, I can't believe we're getting anything.
Yeah, I think we got shot at the player.
Did we sell Guendouzi, or is he on loan? Is he been sold from us?
He's sold. Yeah, we sold
him.
Yeah,
so then there must be a sell-on clause, right? A percentage like they have on FIFA, which I never put into my deals.
There might be something there, but Tony will tell you upwards of, we could have got 15 million. We ended up with 11. I would have liked somewhere.
Tony will tell you that he won a CFA Cup, but
25-30. These matches that we go up a few goals, he can come on and close out matches to give Partey and Xhaka a rest. And then he will end up at Fulham, just like Bernd Leno, just like Cedric.
And William.
Yeah. So look, from me, it's got to be Teabag, Don Juan, man of the match. Gary?
I don't know any buying name. I don't even know what
you
the
can
name
nominate
is.
another player known as Fabio Vieira if you want to.
Yeah. Now, you know what? I didn't really want to give anybody because I thought we played terrible, but you're right. If you're going to have to give it to somebody, Fabio Vieira did good once he got, like you said, he got to play with a couple of more starters in the match.
Yeah.
And for me, those are the things that Arteta has to remember, right? Because the next time we play Newcastle, right, we're going to need something changed. Like we're having a bad day, we can't hit anything, we can't hit a barn door. We need somebody to come in who's going to make it a little bit easier for everybody else. Guess what? You have this. He keeps he's a man that in every other match he at least shows us something where you're like, I want that, I want more of that. And then when we need him to do that, he never gets off the bench. And you're like, what more does he have to do? Like he does that, right? Yeah.
Right now he's probably got the most difficult job is trying to compete against Erdegaard.
It's not even that. He has talent because we saw it the first time he came in with the first shot that he took. You're like, nobody's doing that in this squad right now. Yes. All right. Yeah. There's a volley out of the air. It went over the thing, but you're like,
something different.
We're not doing that. Nobody else is doing that on this squad. He does that regularly.
Possibly he could play in that left 8 position.
That's a very good point, Gary. Which I forgot about. I was very surprised that Fabio Vieira did get a chance to feature in that Newcastle game. I mean, there was room for him to make an appearance, and as we've seen, when he's playing in that first 11, he's given time to operate and to contribute. So,
did he play in the left 8? Where did he play? I can't remember. Odegaard was right.
He played in
Yeah, I
that
think
Odegaard position, which is sort of like the right-sided midfielder, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
really a central position, is it?
Stan, are you giving it to Fabio as well?
I don't know who that is. I'm not sure who that person is, but I tell you what, I would do. I'd actually give it to Teabag. This other chap, maybe I don't know who that is, but yeah, I'd give it to Teabag.
All right.
I need to see more of this other chap before I can tell you anything about him.
Oh my God. You guys are killing me. Call the man by his name.
Call the man by his name. All right, we got a couple other things to get through. We got to get through the preview, so I hope you're all okay for another 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
Yeah, my missus left me ages ago. Right.
All right. So you're good. Gary, you good? We want to talk about the stadium, the new stadium wrap. Want to spend a few minutes on that? What do you think?
I didn't really look at it.
Oh, well, then I can't ask you. I'm sure, Gary.
It looks cool. It is
Yeah.
cool. I like a lot of the different things. We got like the windows, with the players, with the coaches and the players taking out the one with the Invincibles and the quad. That's pretty cool. I guess it's the flags of the different supporters
International.
clubs, right?
No.
It's really
Yep.
cool. So
Yep.
no, I think those are all good. And as you know, Arteta and Edu have been saying they've been wanting to bring us in, right? Bring us in. The fans want to get us back, right? And they're doing that, right? They're doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
2 years ago, would you ever think like the captain of Arsenal would just be talking to a YouTube channel, right? At a function, right? And
Yeah.
we're doing that now. So yeah, no, I think it was really good. Um, for me, I always get concerned that they're spending so much time on this that's why the Mudryk deal is taking forever because they're worrying about all this marketing crap instead of doing the football stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because we need to get a second player in. And I saw somebody mention, Slavic, is it Milinovic, Savic might be an option, right? And if that's true, and that's like I believe the option there is like a 10 million loan and then a 40 million purchase at the end of it, then yes, right? Yes, we're talking about like increase improving our midfield. That does it right there. So I say,
Mhm.
that'd be cool to do that as well. So we might be moving a little slow, but we might get finished with a bang because we need it. I mean, as I said, this where we stand right now, this is how you script winning. Is that your new toy? This is how we script winning a league, right? You're sitting in a situation like we are today. If you're
Is that the
not, then
one?
what's the point, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Thankfully,
the one? Is that the one? BX. Sorry, is that the one with the blue coat? Target.
man, if it isn't Tony, it's Stan. Tony with the shiny shirts. Stan with the wrestling figures. Thankfully, through Stan and Gary hosting and everyone else hosting here, they didn't get rid of this banner that I've had for a few years now. Project Rebuild continues. Always Forward is the banner, and Arsenal have carried that through this stadium wrap. 1886, we'll have it on here. Always Forward is the moniker that Arsenal want to do. So it opens up, and Stan, I just forwarded it to you I DM'd it to you if you want to have a quick look at that. It's the promo for the new Arsenal wrap on the stadium.
Oh yeah. I look at it. I've seen bits of it.
So it starts off with "Welcome to North London" and "Home of the Arsenal." So really like this because it's something for all fans to hold dear as our home. This is our patch, Gary. This is what our players are going to be fighting for when the opposing teams come, when fans come, and it shows that this is something we're going to defend, and we're going to need to do that. It's going to have to be Fortress Emirates. Welcome, Alonso. We're talking about the stadium wrap right now. So, have you seen that? I'll carry on anyway. As Gary said, the international mural of Arsenal fans. So all of the Arsenal fans worldwide and all the supporter clubs are recognized on this part, Gary, which I think is cool. Go ahead.
No, it's really cool what they've done. As you said, like I said, they've brought the fans in. They brought the fans in. You've got the two cannons sticking in different directions, I think. Right, Victoria, Concordia, Cruce. That's how you say it. I'm destroying that. And as you got
Concordia.
You crucified that, Gary, didn't you?
I did. I am just really bad at this thing.
Where was your Latin? Come on.
And I can barely speak English, man.
Let's stop at Odegaard. Just stop there.
Yeah. No, but I mean the one with the like the quad on one side and the Invincibles on the other side is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all done. And also, Gary, what I love is they've brought Highbury to the Emirates. They brought the Art Deco marble, the marble halls of Highbury to the Emirates, and they show the Art Deco Arsenal class, tradition, history, akin to the marble, sleek and classy, and then you have the sounds of past victories. I mean, in the promotion, you have the sounds of previous title wins that we've had, and of course, we've all seen Arsenal legends in the windows and all that good stuff. Then you show the Emirates cannon, and of course the men and the women's achievements as well, the ladies and the men's team. So all inclusive, all Arsenal, international, class, history. Everything's. I think they've brought everything in a really good way, and they've collaborated with over 100, I think, 100 fans in all these forums, and I think they've captured pretty much everything we'd want to see on the eight parts of the stadium that it's going to be on. Anyway, anything more on that part? No?
I think it's really cool, and we just need to be able to highlight that when we keep winning matches. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Just keep winning. And we just, like I said, we need to finish up this transfer window strong. And it's like Fabrizio Romano just reposted. He's been retweeting his thing about. So it sounds like the only thing they're working on now is the add-ons. But hey, but these are the guys that supposedly have the information, right? And it used to be people would wait for Ornstein to say something, but I know people are getting annoyed with him as well.
I hate all of them. I can't stand any of them. I wish they'd all go away. But yeah, obviously, when I see a post come up, I'm going to look because it's there, right? It's there, and I need to know. But secretly, I wish they would fuck off. Okay, guys, here we go. Yes. I fucking hate it. I hate his fucking videos, especially the bit where it starts off in the black and white. They give you like a little snippet, then you have to go through that beginning a bit and see the pictures of him. He's looking at his phone and talking to all his. I'm just like, fuck off. I wish they would all go away and just let the business get done. But yes, I watch it because it's there. It pops up, and you're like, well, I want to know what's going on. But I wish that I wish we were back in the days of Oracle and CFAX, man. That's how I want. I want to go back into the Stone Age.
No, you don't.
I remember being on my holidays in Ibiza and going down into the shop when my missus was getting her oil and I was buying some cigarettes. And I happened to pick up a newspaper, and on the back page, Arsenal signed Dennis Bergkamp for 7.5 million. That's how I like it. I want my news. I want it to be delivered to me like that.
You want us to go back? Then you wouldn't know who I was. You wouldn't know
hating all of this.
Ray was.
Closer.
You wouldn't know.
We're inching
you wouldn't be
closer.
able to talk to me right now if we went back to your days.
We can still talk about Arsenal.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't even know who I was.
Yeah, we would. It's the transfer bit I hate.
No, it's all connected.
We're inching closer.
It's all connected. Information is connected. It's the way me and you are communicating.
I mean, it's frustrating, right? But you don't want to go back to CFAX.
I'm looking through my timeline today, and a tweet popped up from that Mr. DT. I'm like, how the fuck does that even happen? What world am I living in? Yeah. I'm like, if this phone wasn't so new, I'd throw it out of the window. I'm like, how is this even fucking possible?
Alonso, can you hear us?
I thought the guy was languishing in jail and shit.
All right, good. Alonso, Did you see the stadium wrap, or should we move on?
I did, and I follow Arsenal on Instagram, and I was seeing all the old
Ray's like,
legends,
thank fuck. Someone saw it.
and I saw it, and it was really cool seeing the legends and former players come out and support the cause, I guess, or portrait rebuilds, or around the stadium with artwork. So that's pretty cool. Seeing legends like Pat Rice and George Graham and David Seaman and guys that I didn't know, or I knew Arsenal, but I didn't know their history because I didn't become a supporter until 2008-9 season. So seeing those guys come out is pretty cool, especially Pat Rice. Him being an Arsenal guy for so long, seeing him as Arsene Wenger's right hand man, was pretty cool, and seeing George Graham especially as well, who helped revolutionize Arsenal in that sense that it was a Southern club before he got there. It's pretty cool too. So
I did see one bit. Did you see the bit Alonso with Martin Keown with a bandage around his head? I saw a bit. I thought, wow, man, they're really putting in the battle scars.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool, right? I mean, those things right there symbolize what Arsenal is all about, in my opinion. And seeing guys like Jack Wilshere, who didn't fulfill his potential, is still now the U18 coach. So his presence as well is there as well. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really important that they had the legends and the current players or present players there as well, like Udegaard.
And just to quickly to tell on what Lonzo just said, he just reminded me of what he said about Jack Wilshere in the coaching role. I was just reading that Cesc Fabregas would like to come back to Arsenal to do his coaching. Again, you see how we attract, and just talking about attracting again. It was a conversation. Something I was reading about a conversation between Rob Holding and Lacazette, who were still friends. And they, we played them in a friendly or whatever, or something or whatever, and they were in communication. And Lacazette was basically talking about, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And if you're reading it, it was kind of very cryptic. He was saying to Rob Holding, "Stay where you are as long as you can, because you're in a very good place." As football clubs are,
which is crazy because the way that
looks like Tony's feeling better.
Chambers leaving us for is ridiculous because we could, he. Well, look, I thought we missed him more than he gives us more than Holding does in terms of his
but he
flexibility.
Didn't win the FA Cup for us, did he?
No,
but neither did Holding. Neither did Holding, right?
Holding did though. So.
Oh, okay. You're right. I keep forgetting that one.
And that's not me. That's Tony. So
I keep forgetting that he did that for us. I mean, the man is yeah.
No. If you didn't all, Gary.
Is anyone else feeling a bit of a draft in here? All of a sudden, Tony's just coming to the chat.
No, Gary, you have it all wrong. It's Karen Gibbs that you're forgetting about, man.
Well, listen,
Karen Gibbs. Karen Gibbs is the man. You are right.
No, Alonso. Ainsley Maitland-Niles is, because they beat Crystal Palace at the weekend in the FA Cup to progress to the next round. Then they go on and beat Manchester City in the EFL Cup.
Right, I live in the past, man. So this isn't cutting it.
Let me live in the past. Let me live in the past. Okay, so that's the stadium wrap. A quick word about City, Gary, losing to Southampton.
Because remember, we always used to say that their second 11 could compete in the league.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like that right now, does it?
No,
I mean,
no.
It's 2-0, and then you still bring on your starters, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. Usually that helps, right? But it didn't matter. I think they needed to bring. I don't think they brought on Haaland, but they tried to change things.
They brought him on late. Yeah.
Later, right? But I think when I saw De Bruyne come on, he didn't come on in that group. But no, it's good to see, and they're kind of, I guess, to some degree coming back to earth a little bit by their own doing, I believe. I think they created this kind of dip in the quality that they have. So it's good to see. Yeah, good to see. As long as we continue doing what we're doing. Was that Tony? Is Tony actually? When you guys were talking about
Tony's in the
Tony,
chat.
yeah,
Tony's living his best life in the chat.
post it again. Gary was looking.
Yeah, he wants me to put the dark set of the New Jersey.
Oh, I don't even know what to say to
I
that.
hope he had one of those big belly laughs that only Tony can do from that. Tony was going to be on the show, but his shirt said no, not tonight. And anyway, Southampton scored 2 fantastic goals. I'm afraid to look into this as City on the decline. It's probably not the case. City is not on the decline.
They're not the same team they were in the last couple of years, and they probably now need to focus
our chance.
They probably will now just focus on certain things, whereas before they could compete on all levels, right?
Does this mean? I mean, it's going to be interesting. The team sheets come out for the FA Cup game where we go to the Etihad. It's going to be interesting because we're going to put our second team out, very much so. Lolo's more concerned with United than City. We're going to get into that now. We're going to talk about these. So let's keep in mind it's the big North London derby on Sunday. We'll talk about that right at the end. And it's Man United versus City.
What's our record? We have good records in the North London derby, but our record is quite bad at their place, right?
Yeah, we haven't won 8 tries. The last 8 or 9 tries we haven't won. And we've won two in like the last 20 or 18 or something like that. So
a lot of draws. There's been a lot of draws in there, isn't there?
We've been looking, right? Probably not too many draws.
No, I don't think.
Okay, that's going to change, man.
Yeah, it's not.
No, the way our team is playing now, and even with all the adversities that's happened now, right? Jesus is out. That's not gonna. Like I was saying that I was like laying it all out. All right, we finally we're top of the table. Oh, that won't last. All right, we're still top of the table. It went from 1 week to months. Liverpool's you're gonna play Liverpool. Nope, didn't matter. The World Cup. All right, you'll be struggling. Before you go into the World Cup. Nope. You'll be struggling after World Cup. Nope. You'll be struggling in early January. Nope. Now
they're bringing the might of the FA down and the charges.
So now the FA is trying to hurt us. We're still getting results, and now it's the January of hell, right? It's coming. The crazy January is coming. We got these 2 big matches in
United.
Yeah. So these are games we just we continue to do what we've been doing, we'll be fine, I think. So,
well, look at that. Man United play us. Man United play City, and then they have to play us. So
yeah, this January is going to be like Murderers Row. How do you say it? Row. Yeah. Like everybody plays everybody. So whoever can not lose as much as the other.
Yeah. Prison Break, survival of the fittest as well. Premier League weekend preview. All right, Alonso, going to get you working now, okay? You had the whole evening off, Alonso. All right, first one up. Aston Villa at home to Leeds United. Let's give Tom some hope, maybe.
Yeah. This is going to be a 2-2 draw. Sorry,
Desmond 2-2. Gary, what do you think? Leeds, Aston Villa.
As I was saying to somebody, I want Mr. Tom to start off his weekend really happy. So 2-1.
Smiling Tom.
Leeds, or 1-2 the Leeds wins it on the road because I think they're playing at Villa. So yeah,
they're playing at Villa, and I think Villa have been decent at home. But Stan, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think Unai Emery's going to do all right at Aston Villa, and what Alonso said, actually, I don't think that's too far off the mark. Something like a 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
I think a draw would be good.
The one thing, Mr. Tom,
I don't see Leeds winning it. I see them drawing or losing.
I need Mr. Tom happy, so Just take that back.
I mean, according to Unai Emery,
take it back.
They just bought the best
Take it back.
Right? So.
Take it back.
The world is better with a happy Tom.
Take it back.
If you have a Tom in your life that's happy,
take it back, Stan.
You're winning.
There is nothing that I would like most than for Bullet Baxter from Grange Hill, as he's known, to be perfectly happy. But I just think that I got to think that I think that Unai Emery is gonna do a lot better with Aston Villa than Steven Gerrard could.
Yeah.
Yes, true. They might be buoyed by getting out of jail against Cardiff City in the FA Cup as well. So, yeah, let's see. Leeds United going to go to the form table. All right, 2 draws in the last 2 games. One of them at Newcastle as well. So, I think they can get a draw up there at Aston Villa. I'm going to go back the other way. Stan, Man United versus City.
Stan.
Again, I think that could be a draw.
No.
I think it could be a draw. You know, these are teams that Man City at the moment are starting to look a little bit shakier than I thought that they would, much more than I thought that they would. Whereas Man United, as shaky as they are, they seem to be finding a little bit of an uptick, if that makes sense, you know? They seem to be kind of like looking a little bit more positive, you know, like the rebirth of Marcus Rashford. Maybe a draw.
Yeah.
Again.
Now, let's be fair. United have beaten...
Yeah, Desmond,
teams.
Definitely.
United have beaten teams that are around them. They've beaten Southampton. They've beaten I think it was Forest or Bournemouth. But they're in good form, and City are not.
Why is it that City look like, even though Haaland will continue to score goals, and you think, don't have to worry about that guy, it doesn't mean they're going to win the games. Mm-hmm. And that's what I thought was going to be the difference maker. But it shows you what difference a season makes, that they seem to maybe have a few problems at the back.
Yeah. City are shaky at the back. I actually hope. I think United will win the game.
They've always given you opportunities, because we saw that even last season, right? Even last season, I think they were playing Burnley or Villa or West Ham. I can't remember which team it was, and they were able to go ahead, but they weren't able to get that third goal. Yeah. And they always gave you opportunities. Oh my gosh!
I'm just glad it's
What is that? What is that?
It's
not even moving.
What is that? He gets to go last in the rotation.
Just checking in to see that we're all behaving.
I know.
He's got the dreaded bottom left-hand corner.
He's trying to scare me or something.
What's that behind you, Tony? What's that design behind you? You sitting on some kind of a throne, or is that a mural behind you?
It's a Spanish villa.
Right. Okay.
All right, we gotta keep
alcoves.
Gary, did you give us your Man United City results?
I want them both to lose.
Well, come on, Gary.
Come on, Gary.
Gary wants the ground to open up, and then both teams just fall into it, and then the ground shuts again.
I mean, yeah.
I want Bane to show up right after all of that happens and go.
I want a La Brea.
That's what I want. Bane needs to go to that match. Now, I guess if somebody's going to win it, then for me, it's almost, I don't really want this, but it's more the team in red to win, to get the 3 points, but I don't want that either. And I don't want the blue team to get 3 points.
Yeah, well, we have a 9-point gap to one of them, and I'd rather them close that one to 6 before we.
Yeah, no. So I guess we'd
all prefer a draw, though, right? I think draws would be 1, isn't it?
I think it's a draw, but I would like, if somebody's going to win it, then it's a team that's further behind us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're playing at home. They've been beaten 6-3 earlier in the season by Man City when Haaland was scoring for fun. Alonso, Man United at home to City.
You know, it's funny because Manchester United always gives City a hard time. They even won whenever City been doing very good. United have come out and beat them pretty bad actually. So you know, it's a tough game to actually call, because you don't know which United team are going to come out. But Marcus Rashford has been playing really good lately. and he's proven that he's the best striker at the moment. So, I want to give this a 2-1 win to United.
I think United get something out of this. I'm going to go for a draw. I've been talking about Casemiro. They've only conceded, I think, 6 goals in 9 games. Tony, Man United and City. I think it's a draw. What do you think, Tony?
I agree with you, Ray. Have we got to a triple header yet that you notated in your notes?
No. No, perfect timing for you.
Yeah, that's why I came. I looked again and I was like, yeah.
Tony is here.
What did Ray scribble down here?
Who gives a crap? Tony's here.
That's not what you put down there.
WGAF.
Yeah, let's not even get into it. Come on, move on.
All right. It is Wolverhampton Wanderers at home to West Ham. 19 versus 17, Tony.
The first of the triple headers.
I did that for you, Tony. I did that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For first game of Who Gives a Fuck game of the week, probably the most boring one. I guess Mark cares. Mark on the stoop will care.
Sure.
So we'll go for Wolves for him. They probably don't have a chance in hell, but what the hell? Let's go for Wolves.
Right. Stan, Wolves at home to West Ham.
See, look, I mean, at the end of the day, right, we're talking about the fixtures, but, everyone knows that we're all involved in what we do. We do our upset picks. And if you look at all of the fixtures, if you're playing, if you're looking at the upset picks like you're in a casino and you're looking for what the best odds are, do you not think, has everybody looked at the matches? I looked at them earlier and I'm like, there's only one game that you can go for if you really want to go for it. Everything is like, remember how I used to do it when I first started? It'd be like 1 point.
1 point.
They're all that kind of a game. They're all that kind of a game, aren't they? This is another classic one. Who's going to go for this one? And
that's the way they were like 2 weeks ago. There's a bunch of games like this.
Exactly. It's a don't give a fuck game to watch or for the picks. And I'm going to put it out there. The only pick this week that is worth picking is the Bournemouth one.
Yeah.
That's the only pick. We're either all going to get points this week or we're all going to get nothing. Because every other match seemed to be 1 or 2 points.
Well, yeah.
You
can take 3 solid points if you want. It's going to inch you closer. Nobody won. Unusually, nobody
There's
got
the man that needs to inch closer.
Ray knows going to buy that, Ray. Come on, man.
Nobody's going to buy
I
that.
tried to say my lead will be stay for another week. Stan.
Who's gonna win the game though, Stan?
Between Wolves and Southampton.
West Ham.
So Wolves and West Ham, is it? And where is it at?
Didn't do his homework today.
What ground is it at?
At Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's the first team out. It's the home game. Home team. Come on, Stan.
It could probably be a 0-0 draw.
You were born in England.
0-0 draw.
Stan giving this segment way more time than
0-0 draw. All right, Gary. West Ham, Wolves, West Ham.
Let's make Mark happy as well.
Why?
Schumacher's back now, isn't he?
He went after you last week.
He did. 2-1 now.
He's back in that Schumacher.
Alonso, 2-1 to Wolves, says Gary.
Right. This is I really do care match of the week. This is very important for both 6 teams to come out ahead. Anyway, I'm picking Wolves.
Okay. You should just pick the opposite of whoever Tony picks.
Right.
Tony, Nottingham Forest versus Leicester.
Yes.
Our second of our triple feature here.
Danilo hat trick, isn't it? Danilo hat trick. He's signing, isn't he? Danilo that we were looking at.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest.
This is kind of like that one week we had when I did all the Street Fighter movies. Bitches of a Night was one of them.
Okay, Tony.
I don't care who wins, Ray.
Why did I add him to the stream? I don't
get it.
Don Juan, why, Don Juan?
Nobody missed you, Tony.
Don Juan, you have 4 other people here.
Gary was just like this, looking down at whatever he was doing.
Don Juan was nodding. Don Juan was nodding off. Don Juan was nodding off, and then he was like, "Tony."
Nobody missed you, Tony. Nobody missed you. No, we missed you. Nottingham Forest, Leicester City.
It's like the pod has just started.
Is this the game, Stan, that Brendan Rodgers resurrects Leicester City at Nottingham Forest?
Again, I see Nottingham Forest could even probably do them, man. I mean, Leicester all over the place. Brendan Rodgers talking about if they want to play, then you can fuck off. He's not giving anybody confidence and that. I could probably see Leicester losing this. Is it home or away?
Forest. Yeah, Nottingham Forest are home and they're pretty good at home.
Yeah,
right?
they're going to win.
All right, I'm going to go with Nottingham
Danilo
Forest.
hat trick.
Gary. Danilo hat trick.
Gary's going with Leicester. Leicester's going to start winning again.
I think they're going to go 4 losses in a row.
Yeah, man.
What happened to them after the World Cup? They just died.
Yeah, I think Nottingham Forest is on a little bit of a roll right now. So
yes, we can all revel in the Chelsea shit show right now. We'll talk about Chelsea in a minute. Alonso, Nottingham Forest, Leicester.
Perfect. This is my second installment of this I Care Match Deeply and Match Week update. Yeah, so I'm going for Nottingham Forest. They quit on.
You can't even do it straight anymore. Come on, Lonnie.
Come on,
Lonnie.
Okay, Tony, relax. Nottingham Forest.
Is Karen Gibbs a parachute in this time?
Yes, he is.
Launcher. How's he getting in the stadium?
Calm down. He's gonna be all right.
Alonso Tony friendly rivalry.
Everybody wanted AJ Fury, but this is far better.
Yeah,
this is where the money is, man. This is where it's at.
The bottom
this is box office right now.
Well, they're bottom of the card right now, Stan, aren't they?
This is what people. I mean, was it as in the words of JR? Business is about to pick up every time Tony comes in.
Yeah. All right, Tony, we got to take a break from the WGAF.
Thank God.
It sounds like wrestling, doesn't it? WGAF.
It's not like we had much of a break. There's another one coming
Brighton
up.
at home to Liverpool.
My God.
Tony. Brighton at home to Liverpool.
That's gonna be a close one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with Brighton.
Okay. Brighton got a 3-3 draw at Anfield. Stan, what's the return leg going to be like?
The return leg.
I like Brighton. I like
That
Brighton.
wasn't
I like
a good
Brighton. Do you know I like
leg
Brighton because they were good under Potter, and then they changed managers and shit, and got rid of a couple of players here and there, and they're still good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I like Brighton, and I really hope that they do it again. But I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. Liverpool always give you cause to pause now. You know,
of course, because they got some firepower there, and if it all comes together on the day, you know, you never know.
Big if.
A lot of draws in this week for me. A lot of on the fence results because of the form of some of these teams.
I think Brighton will beat Liverpool. I'm gonna say it. I think Brighton will beat Liverpool. Gary,
I want chaos. So yeah, Brighton.
Windows.
So Brian. It's a Brian and Brighton.
Brighton
gets the win at home
What's
against
in your
Liverpool.
Little cup there, Gary? Is it?
And Liverpool goes on a 2-game losing streak. So yeah, I'd like to see if Brighton jumps over Liverpool with the win. Yeah. And think about it. If you look at the table the way it is right now, you've got Brighton 8. You know, if Liverpool loses, they'll be down maybe 9. Next to Chelsea, who's 10. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Chaos.
Gary's just rambling on nonsense.
You are talking nonsense and crap and junk. And what are you here for? Why are you here?
You don't get to come in here and disrupt things.
I'm here for a fucking triple header. What the fuck do you think I'm here for, Gary?
All right, Alonso, we're gonna get him out of here after the triple header, okay?
Jack Tunney.
2 more rounds, Alonso.
Tony is the Jack Tunney of Arsenal fan circle.
Brighton at home to Liverpool. He's going to take his top off now.
Where's he going?
Shirt.
Is his house? Is Tony's house? Is Tony's house on a slope all of a sudden? He's just like wheeled off. Where's he gone?
He'll be back. Alonso.
Where is he? Fucking Ironside.
He's ready for bowling. Alonso, Brighton at home to Liverpool.
Right had it correct.
I'm going for 3-1 to the Seagulls. Brighton, yeah, man. 3-1.
We keep underestimating what Arsenal did down there, but it's not easy to win at Brighton.
Fucking Sam hates Seagulls.
Tony,
go over Seagulls.
Tony, stop making me laugh, man.
Your triple header, Tony. Everton at home to Southampton.
Well, the last who gives a fuck game of the week.
Oh my god.
Let's go with Southampton. It's probably be another draw, like Stan saying this week's full of draws, but let's go for Southampton.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I keep waiting for Southampton. They're 20th. Now they're going to need a win, and that cup win over City might just have spurred them on to something better. Stan? Everton, Southampton?
Oh, Everton, man, they're in a really bad place, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. They're both in a bad place.
Big time. But I think maybe Southampton could edge them. I think Southampton have got a little bit more to be pleased about. You know, a new manager, new training, a fresh approach to stuff. Whereas Everton seem to be in a bit of a malaise and a bit of a doldrum. Where was it their top bod's been on TalkSport, you know, begging fans and plus it's Fat Frank, isn't it? So you know, you're like, I hope they go down, but seriously. It's Frank Lampard always does that. But yeah, I think Southampton could maybe get this one.
Okay. Southampton for Stan. Gary?
Yeah, more chaos. So if they win this, right, it brings everybody closer to the bottom.
Why does Gary look like he's 2 foot tall?
He doesn't. He's sitting back. He's sitting back. He's relaxing on a Thursday evening. Okay.
I'm just chilling.
I don't like the window behind Gary with the way the curtain is. That's like the sort of face. That's the window that face is peering at.
It's like,
look at it. That's like, you know what I mean?
It's like,
yeah, I've got windows like that here too, as well. Alonso in the Alonso Tony friendly rivalry. This is the third triple header, right?
This is my third installment of I Care Deeply Man of the Match weekly.
Man of a match. You don't even know what you're calling it anymore, Alonso.
Match day weekly.
Speaking to the mic.
I'm going for Southampton. I'm going for Southampton.
Okay, Southampton to win that one.
So me and Tony agree finally.
That concludes the triple header of.
Tony, bye. See you later. Oh, I didn't think he was gonna go.
Jeez, Gary, that's kind of
he's
harsh.
back. Crap.
I did that. I put him on the naughty step. I put you on the naughty step, Tony. All right, Tony. It's Brentford at home to Bournemouth.
There's the point.
Don Juan would not be happy if I dropped.
That's the only pick. That's the only pick. The point spread.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that Bournemouth could win, but you got to pick that one, innit? That's the pick.
Yep.
There's nothing that comes close this week. Everything's like 1, 2. You know what I mean? Like it's marginal.
You crack the code, Stan. You pick ones with bigger points.
Mate, crack the code. I'm like fucking Tom Hanks in the Da Vinci Code
now,
mate.
It's gonna be a fucking draw. You're not getting half a point, Stan.
I'm like Professor Robert Langdon. I got it. I know what's going. I know what time it is.
All right.
How many points are you getting? It's a big draw.
Tony, I'm just behind you, mate, and that's only because you're cheating.
How am I cheating?
Yeah, listen.
I know
there's not a lot between there. It's tough at the top. Gary, Brentford, Bournemouth.
Yeah, I still think
Ivan Tony.
Brentford is home, so Brentford's going to win.
But that is the pick, though, isn't it? Though. Do you know what I mean, Gary? In case there's a draw, right? That's the best. That's the best numbers.
I'll let you keep thinking that. Yeah, it is.
Stan,
Gary's like Southampton, like Wolves. Is that Wolves?
If you lose on Saturday, it's not over. There's still many games, Stan, to replay that point. Alonso, Brentford, Bournemouth. He's frozen, right?
He's good at playing still. This is when we get to see two Alonsos.
He's frozen. Okay, Tony. Brentford, Bournemouth, Tony. Come on.
I already said it was going to be a draw. I didn't stutter.
Well, I actually asked you, and Stan was like, but it's got to be Bournemouth. It's Bournemouth, right? Are we all going to freeze now?
Got ya.
I knew you'd frozen. Okay.
I was just pretending.
We'll start with Gary. Chelsea at home to Crystal Palace.
I want more of chaos.
We call you Captain Chaos.
3 in a row losses for the team in blue.
Captain Caveman. Yeah.
You don't yell, match.
How about
I think after what we saw today, and then they just lost their loanee for 3 matches. This is free falling. Free fall, you know. Yeah, this is happening. They're gonna lose 3 in a row here.
Wow. So
I'm gonna go 1-3 to the Crystal Palace.
I think unfortunately Chelsea will beat Crystal Palace at home. Tony?
Draw.
You're like the draw specialist. Alonso.
I'm like the draw specialist.
So I'm going for Bournemouth and I'm going for Chelsea. I'm going for Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace to beat Chelsea. Okay. You and Gary agree.
I'm also going for Bournemouth versus beating Brentford.
Oh yeah, well, you froze there. Bournemouth will beat Brentford. All right. Stan, Gary, and Alonso think Crystal Palace will win.
I could
Tony
see it.
sitting on the fence.
I could see it happening. But not enough for me to not still pick Bournemouth.
Okay.
I know you get lonely on the fence by yourself, so I went and joined Yuri.
You're sitting on the fence with Tony, Stan.
No, I said that I think Crystal Palace would win this one.
Okay.
I think it wouldn't surprise me, but not enough for me to still not pick Bournemouth as my upset pick. That makes sense.
Yes. Stay with you, Stan. Newcastle at home to Fulham. Interesting game.
Yeah. Could be a draw as well.
Take this one as your
a draw.
I could be tempted by this one. Okay, Newcastle home to Fulham, Gary. I think Fulham might beat them.
Yeah, I think Newcastle's playing at home, right? So they've already had 2 draws in a row.
They're unbeaten. They're unbeaten at home, just like us.
Yeah, so another draw for them.
Okay.
3 in a row, 3 draws in a row.
Nice. Tony.
They finally get off the gates after the World Cup. They get a win. Newcastle.
Boo.
Alonso. Newcastle home to Fulham.
Yeah, Fulham been playing pretty well. So, I think they have a team now where they're not going to finish last or relegation zone. So, it won't be surprising if Fulham put a fight against Newcastle. And I want them to win. I'm going for Fulham.
You're going for Newcastle?
No, Fulham.
Oh, Fulham. Okay. Mr. Tom, this is a very valid point. Have the rules changed so Tony has to make a pick before the first game starts? No, they don't. Tony just has to give me his pick before the game starts of the said pick game. So
he's had all night. Get the man your pick right now so we can move on.
Sorry, Gary.
He's usually the last one in.
Who's your pick, Tony? Have you not got it yet?
I have not.
Really?
Only thing I looked at was the 3 Who Gives a Fuck games of a week that Ray
I care matches of
noted out there.
He wouldn't be with us only for I'd put those 4 little letters beside each of the 3 games. He wouldn't be with us tonight, right?
Yeah.
That's
I'd
true.
still be laying around.
All right. I sense people want to get out of here.
Yes.
So we'll spend
I don't.
Brought Tony on. I've been wanting to go like forever.
I sense that from you.
I'm in no rush because my family have already left me. So
I got to get up in the morning because it's Tony. What am I doing in the morning, Tony?
You're
they went
running
an hour ago.
Peloton.
They left an hour ago. So
we care. We care, Stan. We do.
Is that what you ride your Peloton in?
Hashtag we care.
yeah.
As a sip of New Jersey, is that how you? With Dirk sip in New Jersey, is that how you ride?
I don't
your
know who
Peloton?
you are. I'm not talking to you, stranger. Stranger danger.
Tony.
Good night.
Stan, give us your final.
No, I don't
word,
wear a
then.
hoodie.
You out of here? You out of here, Stan? Are you staying for a
Yeah,
bit?
I've got to eat.
You gotta eat. Yeah. Okay. Give me your
And I want to
thoughts
watch EastEnders to see if he's wearing a Tony shirt. If Alfie Moon's wearing a Tony shirt as well. So my final thoughts. Can't wait to the North London Derby. It's going to be this Sunday. So I'm sure that we'll be doing the show not long after because it's about. I think it's an 8:30 kickoff my time.
Right after. Yeah.
So I might go to the pub and watch it, and then come straight home, or I might stay home. I've not decided yet, but I can't wait. Biggest game of the season, and as you mentioned before, we don't have a good winning record at their toilet bowl, so I'm looking for that to change. And it's going to be very doubtful if we're going to have any new signings playing for us by then. So
not playing for us, yeah, but he might be in the door by then.
I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah. Listen, we have a real chance of beating them, so I'm really enjoying the season. Thanks, Stan. If you're shooting off now, that's fine.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Have a good week. And as we draw close to Sunday, that's when I start like having less sleep. You know, like when you're young and you know that you're going away on a school journey the night before and that you can't sleep. That's like me. Have a good week, everyone. Look forward to.
Are you just sleep Saturday, or you just stay up for the game, Stan?
No, he's going to get some sleep. Get some kips, Stan. Yeah.
Have a good week, everyone.
All right. Cheers. Okay. I will say it's such a big game. I'll probably do a pre-game, announce the lineups type thingy before as well.
Type thingy.
Gary, what's your thoughts on North London Derby?
So disappointing. I'm going to probably miss the first half of the match.
Gary, you can't miss the game.
It's basketball season, so
no, this is bigger than basketball.
My game starts at 11:30.
What does Ryan do with you on his live watch along without the Sift of New Jersey?
Dude, I have to. So the second half. So no, I think the team should come in pretty confident. Not necessarily that they're coming confident based on the way they've been playing all season, and continue to do what they've been doing. They should expect everything that they know is gonna come.
Are you doubtful or questionable for Sunday?
I'm not. I'm talking. You quiet your mouth.
Is your calf ready? Is your calf ready? Is it up to puff?
Up to snuff.
You let me talk?
I'll mute him. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say though, we just need to be confident. We need to stay with the same confidence we had all. Oh man, no, I didn't mean to do. I didn't ask you to do that. No.
Well, I was afraid he was gonna flip me off.
No. Oh.
No.
He did anyways. No. So we should know what's going to happen. We saw it last season when we played them, right? Holding fell into the trap. Hopefully, he's telling them don't follow my lead. You know, him being one of the leaders of the team. That's it. And Kedia, we would like to see a big game from him for sure. He cannot disappear in this match. We can't play with 10 players. We need to play with 11. You know, so they all know how this is going to go.
Yeah,
they all know how
this is going to go. Football.
First 15 minutes of the match, we need to do what we usually do, but we need to get the goal. We need to quiet the toilet bowl, as I say. You know, clog the toilet.
Clean. Put some bleach in the toilet bowl.
So they can't do anything in there, and then it starts to get all stinky. as far as they're
sanitize it with some good Arsenal.
Yeah. But I do have to go because I do have to get up in the morning.
I
So
don't know how we play City 4 times, but let me know, BX Gunner. I think it's 3. But anyway, Gary, thanks for joining. We'll see you hopefully on Sunday, and it shouldn't be bad. You should watch the game, not go to your basketball game.
I would like to, but I do need
Priorities.
to go. Everybody in the chat, thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Ray,
guys.
Stan,
See you later.
Alonzo, and I don't even know that. Oh, Tony. Yes, right.
Hey, Gary.
I want a calf report.
Gary. I don't know who that goes.
I'll talk to you guys later.
You for a second? Or are you going?
Huh?
Gary, you sticking or are you going?
Well,
We're going to wind it up in 2 minutes anyway.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go.
Right.
I gotta shut down and I gotta do all this stuff. So I'll see you guys. We'll talk the next one.
Gary. Cheers.
Alonso,
what's your thoughts on North London Derby? Can we do it?
We can. I think that, kind of shows you how hard it could be. They're rivals, so they'll be up to it. I think, you look at last year, we needed points. We didn't get any. Instead, you got blown out. So we didn't get embarrassed against Newcastle. We could have gotten points, but we had a draw. I'm hoping that Arsenal can put up a better fight than they did last year and get away with the win, because it is a tough place to play, and we have to prove to them that we're not only number one in North London, but we're also number one in the league, and hopefully they don't lose focus of that. We tend to worry about players losing their cool, like Granit Xhaka, like Gabriel Magalhaes, like certain players. So it's important that they stay focused and not let,
why do you always pick on Gabriel?
Okay, Gary, I'm not done, Tony.
Hold on,
Tony. We let them inside our heads somehow all the time. We're gonna play at their place. So we can't allow, Harry Kane or Son to, to let them in the game where they can get them a goal rather, and control the game. And we gotta do better if we're gonna win this title. Especially when playing our rivals at their place. And that's been our Achilles heel in the past, is that, we don't play well at their places, so hopefully we can learn from our mistakes last year and go on to our place with a victory.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big mental challenge for us to go there and play a clean game, because we're going to have a VAR team that's Paul Tierney, a referee who's Craig Paulson, and at least Paul Tierney hasn't been that kind to us last season. So VAR decisions, penalties, anything of that sort will probably not go in our favor. Tony, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's what you have to worry about. Harry Kane getting a penalty. You've had Saliba give away 2 already. Wouldn't be surprised to see a third one. With our high line, that's what we have to worry about. Hopefully we kind of abandon the high line a little bit this week. Play a little bit smarter, because you always know Kane's going to be looking for a dive.
But, and he's going to want to link up with Son as well.
Yeah. It should be a game we win, but being where it is, kind of form of everybody, probably they end up being another one of those draws. But hopefully we can go make a bigger claim on our getting first, winning the league. But I hope we can.
Yep. And the Man City game will be important. We'll all be watching that, hoping that a couple of points can be dropped. That will give us a real really energize us for that North London derby. It will raise the stakes will be there for that North London derby. The players will be ready and up for it as well. And I think we'll need to score 2 goals at their place as well to guard against conceding 1 goal. Want to thank all of you for being here tonight. It was a long one tonight, Got to give the comment of the podcast to BX Gunner when we were talking about man in a match. Gary wanted to call him Fabio Vieira. Stan and I wanted to call him Teabag. So BX Gunner said,
Is that why? Is that why you guys went 2.5 hours? Because
we went 2.5 hours because we had a lot to talk about. We talked about Chelsea. We talked about Arsenal. We talked about the stadium wrap. We talked about the Premier League. First half was Vieira. Second half, Teabag came out to play, and the tea was stronger in the second half. We talked about it on Sunday, actually.
So is the stadium wrap another thing the little PR firm came up with on our culture clip?
See, I was going to mention that, but I think we're so past this PR thing that.
But it is, though.
It's not PR. It's a stadium wrap. It is what it is. It's not PR. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not conspiring against the fans. It's being inclusive and doing something for the fans. It's showing off our history. It's showing off our tradition. It's showing off that we've won things from the men's team and the ladies' team. And that's what it is. It's not any kind of conspiracy theory or PR exercise.
You don't think the PR team came up with it?
No. Maybe you had some kind of a case with the Angel song at the end of last season, but not this time. BX Gunner wins comment of the night. Teabag came out in the second half and won us the FA Cup game against Oxford with Eddie Nketiah. We're probably hit 3 hours now, Tony, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, listen. Tony, thanks for joining us at the end. Alonso, thanks for joining us at the end. And of course, all of you who have been here from the start or watching on playback, really, really do appreciate each and every one of you coming to watch us twice a week. We are out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit a like on the way out if you've not done that, live or on the rewind. Take care, everyone. We'll have probably a pre-game show on Sunday, and we'll have the main show afterwards. And Tony's timing me. I'm out of here. Good night, folks.
Good night, folks.